Hey everybody, this is Rob, aka Sir Not Appearing in this episode. Enjoy listening to Kevin and Dennis's coverage of the Warhammer 40k Grand Narrative in Atlanta, Georgia. And don't worry, we'll all be back together soon for our normal episodes.
Welcome to Preferred Enemies, the Warhammer 40k podcast here at the Grand Narrative. I'm your host, Kevin.
And Dennis. And that's all we've got here. Rob and Richard could not make it this year. We hope we can try and talk them into coming sometime because this is a blast.
Yeah.
We've met all sorts of people. It's just a great venue, a great event. And
we've been coming long enough now that staff and other players recognize us, which is cool. It's neat to see those relationships build over time. So I guess we'll just jump in. We both got here on Thursday.
The biggest thing on Thursday was we decided to try and avoid the rush.
Yep.
So registration opened at 7 p.m. We said, we'll let the line side down. We'll get there at 8. Apparently, they nailed registration.
Yeah.
They said they had 6 lines. They divided them up into the Imperium lines, the Chaos lines, and the Xenos lines. And it flowed. And they got everybody cleared out by 7:30, which I think last year it was about an hour and a half we were in line. And this year they said they were done. So we got down there at 8. No lines. We just walked up, got registered. We're like, wow, we thought there'd be a 30-minute wait here.
Yeah.
So kudos GW for getting that and the event staff here. That was a phenomenal registration period.
We got lucky. We got the exact same room as we did last year, which is nice. So we have space. We know the setup. We know how to navigate the hotel, which is great. So we did the initial briefing. So this year there's several things that are different than what they've done in the past. Instead of there just being 3 Lords of War,
one for each faction.
6, so 2 for each faction. So for the Imperium, the 2 Lords of War were Watch Captain Eskaran, who was a Death Watch Marine, and I forget the name of the other one. I didn't even catch that. They kept
He's
saying
an assassin.
They kept saying the Watch Captain's name more, so I do remember that one. But then, it was a leader of the assassin temples, and they've had some interesting stories so far. For Chaos, it has been the Magistar, a Thousand Sun Marine,
Sorcerer.
a sorcerer. Yeah, both the Death Watch Captain and the Sorcerer are in full Space Marine armor.
And fully, perfectly sized. They're bigger than us. They look giant. Well, not giant, but they look Space Marine sized. We'll say that.
I don't have
a good old 8 feet tall.
I followed the guy that made the Death Watch Captain. The guy playing him is the guy who made the armor.
Oh, wow.
And
nice.
he has an Instagram account and was posting it, so we'll post a link.
Oh. So
he was posting pictures of how he makes it, stuff like that. And I was chatting with him about it because I was like, this is so cool. And he's like, yeah. And he was complimenting me on the Tyrannid skull that I have on my thing. Because he's Death Watch, obviously, but he's got for the piece. Right shoulder pad, he has that lieutenant that came out at the beginning of 10th edition with the Tyrannid shoulder thing on the shoulder pads, which was a nice touch. But yeah, he was talking about how he likes doing this because it gives him an excuse to be able to make more of these. Because he's like, honestly, I can't wear all of the ones that I want to make, and it's expensive. So
I can imagine. Oh my gosh!
In this case, this allows me to make more suits and do things like that. So that was really cool.
Yeah, that's just amazing. And
then the other Chaos Lord of War was the Vessel, which is a demon that is silent. Yeah, that's the thing that's very interesting. Is there's silent characters, and there's. Typically, even on the Imperium side, the Watch Captain is more boisterous and more
For the 3 factions, it seems to be they've got one vocal leader and one more in the shadows leader, where the assassin's in the shadows and the Watch Captain, or the Death Watch guy is in your, not in your face, but he's the more
he's
vocal.
the up front. Yeah, he's up front and vocal.
And then for the Vessel kind of hides in the shadows. And we'll get into the story of that later, and then for the Xenos, we have Trazyn.
Trazyn the Infinite. Full on named character from Warhammer 40k, Trazyn the Infinite. And the costume is amazing.
And whoever is playing him has the attitude down.
It's so good. He is so funny. We'll skip to today's briefings. He's going through and he's doing the kind of, calling out each of the different factions of the interlopers. So, where are my Tau, for the greater good, yada, yada, yada. All of my Votann players stand up. Stand up. Get on someone's shoulders if you can't stand up. Come on, I want to be able to see you. Or he's like, then my orc players, just hit something. I don't know.
He was giving direct orders, and
he's like, go do this.
It was
go
very
do this.
funny, like
just hit something.
Explicit orders for every faction except orcs. He said, just hit something. It's like, I don't want to deal with you.
He's been great. He's been the one that I've been giving most of my currency to, Wraithbone currency that we get throughout our games, because, as an Ironkin, he's another machine intelligence, so sure, why not?
And then the other of the interloper faction is Relatin.
Yeah.
Harlequin, and that's another of the silent characters, because in each of the briefings, it's been a narrator who kind of just narrates, and I love the fact that the narrator who's been doing it kind of just, they raise their voice and they use a lot of different inflections to talk through, and it makes it sound eerie and just, you listen and it's just like, it's not straight talking. It's more of like, I don't even want to say poetry and performance, but by changing all the inflections, you get all sorts of sound. Yeah. And it makes you think differently.
It gives it an ethereal quality and a spooky quality to those silent characters, which is what they're going for. The other thing that's kind of awesome is that Rachel and Chris, who were on the podcast before, Chris is playing the Thousand Suns Sorcerer and Rachel is playing the Vessel. So it's kind of funny seeing them screw with each other.
Yeah. Well, they probably do that in real life too.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, absolutely.
The one thing I'll also say is I try to do a lot of stuff in character, and we'll get into as the game's on what my character's going through, because I had a plan, and I'll say the plan now because this is the plan. So at this point, Thursday, here's the plan. We want to collect Wraithbone. We want to study it. We want to build a trading outpost. We want to set up some alliances. And we'll see how much of this I get done.
Yeah. So the narrative so far, as we said here at the end of day 2, is that this ancient Eldar city has appeared out of the webway. Shardam. And it has connections to other places across the galaxy. So there is a battle zone of Fenris. There's a battle zone of Catachan, Sanguiterra, Sanctus,
and Mordian.
I thought was it just the 5?
I think so.
Okay.
Because there's only 4 portals in the city.
Okay. So you've got these different things that you connect. So you can go and have battles on Mordian. You have battles on on Catachan. I almost said Katie. I'm like, that's not right. On Catachan. And, be able to transfer them through very quickly. And then the Deathwatch captain's trying to kill all of the Xenos.
Yes.
The assassins trying to
study the anomaly of what happened. I see these bodies that are coming from different places.
I see all this stuff is going on. What's kind of curiosity?
So he's actually the one that was trying to figure things out, while the watch captain is like,
just kill.
Hey, there's Xenos here. Yeah. Kill them.
And the Chaos Sorcerer is trying to open, unlock more doors, unlock more knowledge.
More portals, more knowledge. And he's the one that caused it.
Yeah. The Vessel is just messing around in the shadows and is like kind of
this is from the first or the Games Day and Warhammer, because they did this now I say preview, I keep saying that, but the prelude.
Yeah, the prelude,
and the prelude. The Vessel there was tied to the Sorcerer.
Yeah.
And apparently during events there, they broke free. Yeah. The Sorcerer has now lost connection with it, doesn't know where it is, decides it's not worth following, not worth bothering. Let me handle the city. Yeah. And he's busy trying to anchor it in reality, and the Vessel's now like, I'm free. I will do this. And
Trazyn's trying to stop the portal opening. And
it sounds like, because when we got our preview the preview narrative, Trazyn wasn't really there at the start. There's just a normal other Necron, then Trazyn took over. Because Trazyn said, okay, you guys messed this up. I have to step in.
And
which, it makes sense. I don't want to say he's the wave the hand fix thing guy, but it feels like he's going to be the wave the hand fix thing guy.
He's the Necron with the most narrative juice. He's the one that's like going to do the big things. So, yeah.
So it was fun seeing all of them, kind of meeting them. And then as we go through the days, we can talk about our Vox Localums too, where the Vox Localum is kind of like the staff member who's managing the room.
Mm-hmm. And they're managing stuff in character, like they're doing it in character, but they're also, they could do liminal protocols and like speak out of character and be like, hey, what room am I in? Like, where do I go next? Can I set this down here? Where's the bathroom? Things like that. So we have the ability to talk to the people and like work through stuff, but most of it otherwise is done in character.
Right.
This year they did something quite a bit different from years past, where there is a currency, and it's like a meta currency that is going throughout the entire event, and it's actually very neat because it's a very cool system. You get Wraithbone for your games. If you win, you get 2 pieces. If you lose, you get 1 piece. And then you can interact with the Vox Localum and the Lords of War and other, in various ways to gain more. So my very first game, I was able to place a wager on whether my land fortress was going to survive. It did. I got like 3 extra Wraithbone for that, and then I was able to trade him and do other things.
So
with it.
In the past, it seemed like you kind of, your faction, it was more wins, losses. Did you take the priority missions? Here, it's more sounding like with this Wraithbone currency, it gives the players more choice, more freedom, because as Kevin said there, you can like barter with it, but you can even barter with other players.
Yeah.
But definitely the Vox Locales and the Lords of War, they're collecting it for their own, the story. And because like in the past, if maybe you aren't following the Tzeentch Demon from 2 years ago or something, you could give it to someone else, and then they have the system. The event staff has a way of tracking who's getting the support.
It's more branching arcs.
Yes.
It gives you more arcs because you have 2 Lords of War that you can follow. And then if you ultimately you're collecting Wraithbone for your Lord of War, and that's going to determine who gets the most, how far they get along the track of their thing that they're doing.
Same with the Vox Locales too.
Right. So you can contribute your resources towards the big faction priority, or if you're greedy capitalist Votann, you can start trading with all of the individual Vox Localums and get individual boons that help just your army and not the bigger faction priority. Which is cool. That's a cool way of doing it.
And I know I've talked about Crusade missions where they're cool, but 2 problems with them is, 1, they get very lopsided if one person's winning all the time, one's losing.
Yep.
And also, if you're at an event, you only have, like this event, 6 games. You might get some of your guys leveled up. You should probably get about half of them leveled up. But you're only leveling up once. Maybe a couple of them will get to the next level. No one's going to get legendary. Yeah. Unless you're like doing a bunch of extra games on the side, which I'm old. I don't have time for that. But in this one, they gave us a packet, which Kevin and I didn't fully... I glanced over and said, oh yeah, I know this stuff. Yeah. Not reading the details. And apparently they addressed this issue. Because every game...
You get something.
Yes, you get something. You can pick a weapon upgrade for a character. I mean, not the 2 that you'd get by leveling up, just 1, but you can still take it 2 times. So after you've played 2 games, your character will have an fully upgraded weapon. There's also battle honors you can kind of pick, but just every game, give someone this. They can't have more than 1. They can only have 1, and you have to pick a different unit each time. And these are non-character units. Yeah. And so this is an easy way of just by playing the game, you're leveling up your stuff without having to grind XP or do anything like that. I do like that because I think it fully addresses I don't have enough experience to do this.
Yep. If you remember to engage with that, which I thank you for reminding me. Because I didn't do that for either of my games today. Not that it mattered. Either of my games today it would not have mattered.
That is fair. And so between having this Wraithbone bartering, because the boons you get for bartering with the Vox Localum are also upgrades to units. Yes. And those last for the rest of the grand narrative.
Like some of them do. Some of them are like for the next
for the next thing, okay.
Yeah. But yeah, there's a variety. And like that's the other thing is the more you give them, the better boons you get. So there's like different tiers. Some of the really good ones are like, if you give me 5 Wraithbone, you can get this one that's really good and lasts the rest of the game. If you give me 3, maybe like I make you roll a die and see if you get the good one or not, or if you get one of the lower tier ones. So it's very interesting. Yeah.
And then in addition to this that I've noticed in the system, we've had Vox Locales or Lords of War just walk by and they're interacting with people, which I don't think they did as much last year.
I forget the orc's name from last year.
Big Mech.
Big Mech, yeah. He couldn't.
Well,
he
yeah,
physically
yeah.
couldn't enter rooms.
Right.
But
I'm
the Chaos Sorcerer and the Rogue Trader did.
But where I'm going with this is, I'll jump ahead a little bit and go back a little bit. But the Chaos Sorcerer, and I've seen the Voxel Cows do this, they'll come up to a table and just say something.
Yeah.
And that's something they haven't done before. Like you said about here's a wager on your land fortress.
Yep.
Or I had one of, hey, roll me a die. Oh, okay. If you give me a Wraithbone, you get 4 I rolled a 4. You get 4 rerolls. I'm like, sweet.
I was trying to bribe the Mordian lieutenant with my Votann coins. I was like, "Do you want some coin? I'll take a boon for coin." And he's like, "Well, I won't sell you it directly. That's beneath what an officer in the Imperium would do. I will, however, wager." And I was like, "Hell yeah, let's do that."
and see, that's how Kevin said they stay in character as they do things. And so, if you know what the characters are like he was not a commissar, but he was a
lieutenant.
Lieutenant.
Guard lieutenant. Yeah. So he had like the epaulets and stuff like that, and a fancy sword.
His costume and character were wonderful.
All of them have been really good. Yeah. There's been a lot of really good cosplay.
And he was our first room.
Yes.
So on Friday, got up bright and early. We had the briefing. We learned what things were going on, and we got assigned Mordian. So we got to meet this lieutenant and his. I guess we were in a very big room that had 30 tables, so 3 different battle groups or 6 battle groups were in there, 3 pairings of them, and the other one was just called the Witch Hunter.
Yeah, he had a name. I don't remember. Witch Hunter.
I don't know the name.
No, it's just Witchfinder.
Witchfinder. Okay.
Yeah.
But he was an Inquisition guy.
Yeah, an Inquisitor.
And so we had him and the Mordian lieutenant kind of guiding the room, and it was fun listening to them talk in character in the thing. And then he did liminal program. I was like, guys, I'll be yelling at you, but that's my character. Don't take it the wrong way.
Yeah.
And so this was the first game of the day, and some people might have been new to a grand narrative.
I'm glad they did that. I'm glad that they break that, because in almost all of our rooms, like, they've done that where they're like, when you're getting set up, it's like breaking protocols. Like, all right, set your stuff down. Let's figure out the tables. Let's do this. And, like, let's get the games good. Because that's also their job, is, like, to make sure the games run smoothly and stuff like that. And everyone has a good time. So, yeah, they seem like they've done a better job of staying in character, but a better job of breaking character, like,
when needed
to get the games rolling. So
then, our first one, the opponent battle group didn't all show up, or maybe they didn't have the same amount of people. Yeah,
it was interesting because it was Battle Group 1 and like only like 3 people showed up.
Was it only 3?
Yeah, okay. Something like that. So we did split and move some things around. Maybe they showed up later. I don't remember if they did or not. But.
So what they try to do when a situation like this happens is one of 2 things. Either one, they'll get 2 people from the bigger group to play 1,000 points each against the other person who
plays
2,000. Or what we'll talk about some later. They might pull a person and say, "Hey, you don't have an opponent. You two play. Or worst case scenario, I'm learning is, "Hey, you've got an odd number here. We don't have any team up things. Hey, can someone come over here because I've got a person in another room?"
Yeah, we pulled somebody because one of our guys got pulled into another room.
And
game 1. Also, this is the other thing. Just as before we get too deep into it. This year, I am playing Leagues of Votann, so I am playing Battle Group 16
Rock and Stone.
We've got 7 Votann players.
I think 7 Votann, a Gene Stealer cult played by Skaven, or not played by, but
we're using Skaven models.
And it looks great.
Cheese Stealer cult.
Oh God,
that's what he's. Yeah,
I didn't hear that.
What he's calling it. Yeah, the Cheese Stealer cult
and a Tau
player.
I don't know how the Tau showed up, but Tau said, hi.
I think he may have just gotten assigned.
Oh, I know he got assigned, but I mean, narrative lie. Like, we're all the kin here. And, random Tau, hi.
So we're both in the same group. So we'll be in the same rooms and the same tables a lot. So, like, unlike in past years where we had, like, different winding perspectives, it's interesting to see how we have like a more limited view, but
I mean, it'll be a different experience here. But I'm crossing my fingers that we will hit all 6 rooms after all the games, and so we will, in a way, have the same thing. And we do play different people. And also with the way they've been handling the briefings with the Lord of Wars, it's not like the first year where Chaos went over to another room and Imperium went over to another room, and you had your own secret meetings.
Yeah.
So I think this is working out, but I know it's an experience we might break apart into different factions next year.
Mostly because, like, I mean, I think ultimately it comes down to whether there actually is an 11th edition and what that entails. Because,
I'll play Votann.
Well, so I would love, I want to, like, build out my Krieg army. I want to play some of my, like, Forge World Eater stuff.
Yes.
Depending on how the game is played, what rules change. Maybe it's not much. Maybe it's drastic. Maybe they go in and they hacksaw a bunch of units and move them to Legends like they did in AOS. And if that's the case, and, like, they take away support for all of the Forge World tanks for Guard, I'm a lot less interested in playing Guard.
I got you.
So it's one of those things, like, there's a big question mark coming up. I don't know how it's going to play out.
Yeah.
Now, I'm still probably going to work on painting that Krieg army just because
it looks
infantry is infantry and it's going to be useful regardless.
And it looks cool?
Yeah.
That's the real reason.
But, so we'll have an interesting perspective this year on it. Before we start getting into the games, they did sort of simplify, I guess, a little bit how the rooms and the missions and stuff
right.
play.
They have, like, in the past, you had, like, I don't want to say a mission packet, but each game had its own thing, and every room was running the exact same mission for the exact same game. So game 1 was always this. Game 2 was always this. This time, your mission is actually decided by the room.
Yes.
And they've already set up all the tables, and then they put the deployment zones on the tables based on how they set up the terrain. Yeah. So you don't have to worry about rearranging terrain in between rounds to try and make it, air quotes, semi-balanced. Because they said it's narrative, it won't be fully balanced, but it looks to me, from what I've seen on the tables, they've tried. I've got some complaints about some tables that I think are overly trained, but that's only because I'm vehicle heavy and I can't drive or shoot through those buildings.
The good thing for me is I have fought Imperial Guard on an over-terrain table and an under-terrain table, and the results were exactly the same.
Okay.
So I don't think the terrain mattered.
It does a little bit, but not always. Yeah. Not always. But I do like this system because you're playing the missions for the room, which is like the world, and that feels more natural.
Similar to what LVO did, your battle zone has, like, specific rules, which I think find kind of interesting. It's like, you're in Fenris, you get this button, and I took pictures. My phone's over there.
Yeah, I didn't take pictures of all.
I took pictures of each of the card, but yeah, it's very interesting because, like, you would get in Fenris there was a snowstorm, which completely hosed me in that game. You rolled top of each battle round on 1, 2, or 3. The snowstorm continues or starts, whatever, and you were -1 to shoot anything beyond 12 inches, which, as a ballistic skill 4 army, is really bad.
Okay, and I'll chime in on this. So each room, as Kevin was saying, has an environmental effect on the mission card. Did you play that in all 4 games?
I don't know that we did I think we forgot the orbital bombardment one in round 3 because it wasn't going to hurt me. And at that point I was like, it's fine. Like,
I bring that up because do you know how many of the 4 that I've done so far?
I don't know.
0.
Oh. So I remember
both me and my opponent either forgot and we're like,
Because the first one we had stealth over like 18. The second one you were -1 ballistic skill past 12. The third one you would get if you were outside of a terrain feature. You roll a d6 and then, like, on a 1 you take like a mortal wound
from the orbital.
And I don't remember what the last one was.
I don't either because we didn't.
Oh, it was -1 to leadership.
Oh, yay!
Yeah, it was -1 to leadership. So it never. Well,
but that's the thing that's neat is each of the different areas had a different environment.
To let you know how my days have gone, leadership test didn't matter because the units died.
Fair.
So.
And then the other interesting thing about those missions is they were all, I'm going to say, very asymmetric.
Yes. So each, depending on what your faction was, Chaos, Imperium, or Interlopers, you had different missions, different objectives. And it's very interesting because they were not all, like, beyond an objective. Some was like, investigate terrain pieces. Some were, kill
enemies,
units, kill more
more.
units. So, very interesting. And there was a mix of progressive, because it was typically 3 to 4 objectives that you'd score victory points off of. And it was a mixture of progressive and end game.
So, like, I'll just read out the one I've got here. Yeah. This is actually the Fenris one.
Oh, so you did take a picture.
I took a picture. I didn't take of all. I took one.
You just straight lied to me earlier.
I did. Imperials on this one have to do, starting in Battle Round 4, any number of units may perform the Destroy Anomaly action if it's in the range of an objective marker you control. That's one of their things. This one is not victory points, but it's telling you what you can do. Starting on Battle Round 2, you score 5 victory points if you control one or more objective markers not in your deployment zone. There's a lot of that. Most of the controls were either not in your deployment zone or your opponent's deployment zone.
Yeah, or there was a couple where it was like specifically the one in No Man's Land.
Right. There's a lot of those.
So very nice, very asymmetrical, which I like. And then the
third one there, end of each battle round, so here's your progressive, score 5 victory points if more enemy units than friendly were destroyed that battle round. And then their final thing, so yeah, there's 4 dots here. At the end of the game, score 5 VP for each objective you've performed a Destroy Anomaly action on.
I forgot I got that picture, Chris.
Oh, nice.
Sorry.
Kevin is taking
I'm looking
pictures.
at I went and got my phone while Dennis was talking, and now I'm like...
He's looking at
getting
pictures.
Distracted.
No, you're fine. And then the ones that we had for interlopers. Up to 2 of your units per turn may perform the Icebound Investigation action while within a terrain feature, not in your deployment zone. You may not perform this action within the same terrain element more than once per turn. So you can't double up on one. So that game, you have to go find terrain. And if there's a lot, it's cool. If it's not, you might be in trouble. And do that twice. So 2 of your units are busy doing actions while the Imperium only has to worry about after round 4.
Yeah.
Then you also, for Interloper, score 1 VP at the end of your turn if you have 1 or more units from within 2 table quarters, 3 VP if you have in 3 table quarters, and 6 VP if you're in all 4 table quarters. So we're having choices of do actions, be in table quarters, and then starting in the second battleground, if you control any objective marker not in your deployment zone, you get 5 VP. So both us and the Imperium have the same one there. Mm-hmm. So there are overlaps. And then our 4th dot here, because like I said, to give you lots of options, they give you lot 4. At the end of your turn, score 2 VP for each successfully Icebound Investigation.
Yeah.
So both groups had an action that pays off. Interloper was per turn. Imperium was do it on turn 4, happens at the end of the game.
Yep.
And I didn't even read Chaos. Do you care about Chaos?
Nah, but it gives you a good feel and for what each of those, how the missions were set up. And it's kind of nice because when you enter into a room, the mission card is already at the table. Yes. The deployments are at the table, so you can just sit down and go and read the card, share it with your opponent, and start and play. You don't have to worry about in the years past where it's like, okay, go to your room. We will send out the mission. Yeah. And yeah.
Or even that these I read that it might have taken me a little bit of time, but they just explain it. Here's your missions. Mm-hmm. Here's your things. And I think that's actually faster than reading through, here's all the steps here, here's all the pre-things here. I think this feels more streamlined to me than a normal mission.
I do too. Do you want to go with your game first, or do you want to...
Sure. So, we're in the room. Lieutenant's been yelling at everybody, because that's what he does. He then gets us paired up, and it ends up me and Matt, one of the other Votann people. I think we're kind of like the 2 people have kind of buddied up saying, hey, we're all the Votann Battlegroup. Let's bring everyone together. We pair up to fight an Imperium Tyranids. This is an Imperium group we're fighting, and yet this Tyranids. So I found that funny. He said, his friends wanted to play, and so that's why he came over here.
If I had realized that you guys, because they asked who has an opponent.
I tried to pull you over.
And I did have an opponent. My opponent was there. And my opponent was Joel, and it was a fun game. And it was a great game. He was new to there, so I wanted to help him play his first game. If I had realized that it was Tyranids, I absolutely would have ditched him and played Tyranids.
That's why I tried to get you fast, but then you had an opponent. Yeah. So me and Matt teamed up 1,000 points, and we're the perfect combination.
Mm-hmm.
I am brand fast, which is all vehicles, all shooty. he is Delve, which he had brought 50 berserkers. So he was down to 1,000, so he said he only brought 40 for the 1,000 points.
Only 40.
Only 40 berserker.
Yeah.
I think he might have said 45, but I think he left everything else out that wasn't a berserker. And so that was what we got to fight against a Crusher Stampede.
Yeah.
And in my practice games coming up to this, one of my friends in Dallas played Tyranids. I faced him off, and he also played Crusher Stampede. You might have heard me talk about that. And the old one-eye that would not die. So, in this game, this Tyranid player put old one-eye and two Carnifexes off on the side.
Yep.
Top of one, we got the top of one. I put all of my shooting into them. I wanted old one-eye dead. Yeah. I had a grudge. So maybe I am truly a Votann player because I had a grudge. That thing had to go down. And it did. And I was very happy. The Tyranid player then said afterwards, he's like, yeah, my big thing I had planned was to have those guys run at you, have the shooting, and then just tie you up with the Norns. And he said, by you killing them so early, that really hurt my strategy. Yep. I'm like, cool. I did something good, but I only did it out of grudge.
Out of spite.
So that one was interesting. I'm not going to say he misplayed on one, but I tried to spread him out because I knew that if we were everywhere, he'd have to make decisions. We left the middle pretty much wide open for him.
Yeah.
Also, he had a Swarm Lord with 6 Tyrant Guard. Those things are tough 8.
They are.
That is tough.
Yeah.
It's 8 levels of toughness.
It's
hard to kill.
It's 8. It's a big number. It's a bigger number than 5 or 6.
Yeah, it's bigger than ours. Okay. Yeah. So yeah, I had my stuff spread out on the flanks. A lot of the berserks were they kind of held back because whoever wins the charge is going to like attack first type thing.
Was he running plasma axes or hammers?
Yes.
Mixture of both?
Yes, okay. Mixture of both. And you could tell because the hammers were crushing Tyranids.
Yeah.
The plasma axes were slicing them.
Yeah.
And I'll get to that in a minute. But yeah, so we left the middle kind of open. He kind of, I don't say took the bait. We just didn't, I put my flanks because I just wanted to shoot. But yeah, he went to the middle. But then he started to spread out. And by him spreading out, when the berserks then came in and so top of 1, he got hurt bad. Top of 2, when the berserks got to him, he got hurt bad. Berserks are insane. I think I mentioned that in that. But, the Tyranids then fought him. He killed one but then they fought back. And on bottom of 2, Tyranid killed his squad. He rolled fight on death and he had 6 fight on death. And he took that Tyranid from full to dead in one fight on death sequence.
You know what I just remembered when you said that? Berserks I fight on death. I need to remember that when they die in my next game. Anyway, go on.
I mean, it's only in melee.
Yeah.
Okay.
But still, that happened a lot. Anyway.
Okay. And then he also was able to do that in one of his charges, take another Norn from full to dead in one melee combat. Yeah. And Tyranids then got a pushback, and they wiped out most of the berserks. But then the Tyranids, I think, were down to 2 or 3. And then my shooting came back and it was not pretty. So we ended up tabling him, but I think that's only because we had the perfect combination of stuff that can kill big monsters. Yeah. Because, like I said, the axes just kind of scratched them.
I mean, the axes are very good, but yeah, Anti-Monster 3 is...
Right, and all he was monsters.
Yeah.
Also, we did drop in some berserks in the back line to try and put pressure there. I will say this. What is the big thing that shoots the big rail thing for Tyranids?
I think it's the... Richard's going to hate me for not getting this right. I believe it is the Tyrannifex.
Okay, Tyrannifex.
I think it's the Tyrannifex. Yeah. We'll go with that.
The Tyrannifex shot at my 1 land fortress because at 1,000 points I'm only bringing 1. He rolled min damage. Do you know how much min damage was?
8.
14. So that 14 damage. Well, this was with two things through.
I said 8 because I thought 8 as min damage was ridiculous. So 14 is insane.
Well, that was 2 shots. So technically his min damage per shot was 7. And that did 14 damage to the land fortress. And you know how many the land fortress has?
16.
You're right.
Yeah.
See, you did get that one right.
Right, because I know exactly how many hunter killer missiles it takes to kill it. Anyway.
Okay. But yeah, so he got my land fortress down to 2, but couldn't finish it off. And I think by the end of the game, I got it back up to 8 through repairs. But that was so scary, because if he had rolled anything other than min damage...
It is the Tyrann effects. I got it right.
Good. The game would have changed, because that was my big shooty.
Yeah.
So that just kind of shows you how swingy and just some certain pivotal moments can like change everything.
So you're telling me that it is a bad idea to have one big shooty unit and then rely solely on it for your anti-tank shooting?
Maybe.
Okay. I will see if I learn this lesson. Foreshadowing is a literary technique. Sorry.
So go ahead with your foreshadowing.
So my first game was against Joel, Raven Guard player, and very new to the hobby. His army was great. Like the painting looked amazing. So he painted it in kind of a silver paint scheme. Looked gorgeous. He had a unit of Vanguard vets that were going in with Shrike, and he had at least got the backpacks off the Forge World Raven Guard. So it's the big like single piece jetpack in the middle with the wings, the Raven Guard wings. Looked awesome. That game did go very slowly because it was my first game with Votann. It was very early game for him as well. I think he said this is like his third or fourth game. So it went slowly, but that's fine. We were taking our time. We're making sure we played all the rules correctly and everything. And it was a very close game as well. The final wound up being, I did win that game. It wound up being 35-15, but mostly because I don't, that's the one I didn't, Mordian's the one I didn't take a picture of.
Right.
I had one of the objectives that was a little bit easier. I want to say it was kill a unit and kill more units.
Yes, we had kill more, and our other thing was we needed to control an objective. And then at the end of the game, be off the of every objective we
That's what it was, because
controlled.
when we knew we were getting to the end of the game, I was able to move off objectives and got extra points for that.
Yes.
That's basically what won me the game.
Yeah, we did the crazy thing in our game. We got on every single objective at certain times. So
yeah.
and then
you got off.
There was one
That's
problem
awesome.
though that I caught early on. Sticky. I had to not put my troops on those because my troops are sticky, and then we would still control it at the end of the game.
Are warriors sticky?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Kids, read your army rules. It is a bad idea to speed paint an army 3 weeks before an event and not have any time to read any of your rules, because you will not do well.
Yes, read rules. Do at least 1 or 2 practice games.
Okay, is that an attachment thing, or is that just native for the?
That's native for the unit.
Okay,
yeah.
I have to remember that, because I would play differently if I remembered that. But yeah, that game was very fun. He had 2 Thunderstrike land speeders. I think they're the Thunderstrike land speeders, and then a Repulsor Executioner, as well as a, not Brutalis, the Ballistus Dreadnought. The land fortress got work done in that game, because I was able to kind of set in the middle and just shoot at things, and each turn the Magna Rail was hitting and would like blow up the land speeder, would blow up a land speeder, would blow up the
Magna Rail's amazing gun.
And then I also, that was the one game so far that the Thunderkin really did a lot of work as well, because the conversion beamers and the grav cannons also were plinking wounds off and killing things pretty quickly. Bury didn't kill. That Bury killed Shrike in that game. But in the... Who was it? How did it end up going? He brought the new...
he killed... I thought Bury killed the new one.
No, he killed Shrike.
And then the new one was still there.
So I did kill the new one as well.
Okay.
The new... And I forget the name of the new Raven Guard character. But he flew over... Like, he jumped over and, like, wiped a unit of warriors. And then I guess it was... Oh, I hit him with Steeljacks. That's what it was. The melee Steeljacks counter-assaulted and punched him out. And he was like, oh my god, Steeljacks are really ridiculous. And Steeljacks are, like, they throw out so many shots. But against Marines, because they're typically 1 damage, so Marines, like, can shrug some of it off, and, like, it takes a lot of shots to do work. But that game was fun. It did go slow. We only got through 3 turns. But
can I say my fun part of the end of your game?
well, so I think it was in the middle of turn 1. The lieutenant from Mordia came by and was like seeing how the game was going, and I tried bribing him with some of the Votann coins, and he's like, "Whoa, no, as a good officer of the Imperium, I can't take coins, but I will gamble. Do you want to gamble for Wraithbone?" I was like, "Hell yeah!" So he's like, he asked my opponents like, "What's the unit that's giving you the most trouble?" And he's like, "The Land Fortress," because at that point I'd already blown up one of his land speeders, like one shot, one kill. He's like, "The Land Fortress." Like, okay, if at the end of round 3 you need to destroy that Land Fortress, if it's alive, he gets all of your Wraithbone. If it's destroyed, you get all of his.
Oh, nice.
Okay, sure. We did get through the end of turn 3, but the Land Fortress was full up. So I got some extra Wraithbone out of that one, and I traded it for some boons and stuff. Yeah, it was a really fun game.
So I'll say my fun part.
Yeah.
As he was getting closer to the end of the game, time was running because even though they don't say there's an end time, and he was going around.
There's an end time because you want to be able to go have lunch and get ready back for the briefing and stuff like that.
But so the fun thing was he was like going around the room. The sluice will be opened in 10 minutes.
Yeah.
You don't want to be in them. We've got all sorts of radioactive contamination there. You want to be out of here before we open it to cleanse the area.
Sluice is such a good nautical term. It really is. Anyway. Yeah, it was fun. Those voxel columns were great. They were a lot of fun. It was a good game. It was a good matchup. It was a fun game. I learned a lot about how the army played, although apparently not enough after the next game.
Sorry.
And then, hopefully Joel had a good time as well and learned how his army played.
And then in between these games, you were still playing when we'd finished, because we finished early.
You finished early, yeah.
So we went around and we each got some Wraithbone now, so we wanted to visit all the other Vox Localums.
Yes.
And so we started doing that and kind of got the lay of the land. And the AdMech one, I don't say bribe, but negotiated with, and Matt, the other Votann with me, got the Feel No Pain 5-up for a vehicle from the AdMech. And he then handed it to me saying, "Hey, your Land Fortress needs this." So I, for game 2 onwards, one of my Land Fortresses was given a 5-up Feel No Pain.
That's awesome.
And this was also the Land Fortress I'd taken in the first game that had killed a bunch of monsters, and I took the agenda to kill monsters. So it ranked, and also all my opponents there said you should put the Land Fortress as your heroic thing. So it got enough XP to rank up after one game. So awesome. I went ahead and bought the enhancement to give it toughness 13 or +1 toughness.
Yeah.
So now I'm rocking a Land Fortress toughness 13 and with the 5-up Feel No Pain. I have now dubbed this the Land Fortress that cannot die.
Yeah. Land Fortresses are incredibly hardy. One thing I've realized in my games going forward is that they do not have an invuln save.
No,
and
they do not.
That means they do die.
They can. That's why I always have an Iron Master next to it.
So, I did too. And then, anyway. Turns out if they just pour in enough to kill it in one turn, it doesn't matter if he's standing there or not.
That is fair. Fair.
So I will say this, running theme, because this happened in Joel's game, and then in the next game, and then in the next 2 games as well. Every single person's like, well, I'm going to shoot my Hunter Killer Missile at the Land Fortress. But don't worry, this thing never hits and it never wounds. I have now been wounded with Hunter Killer Missiles 6 times in 4 games.
6 for 6?
So, maybe my Land Fortress is just a magnet for Hunter Killer Missiles. But everyone's like, oh no, Hunter Killer Missile, I'm not even going to fire it, it never shoots. And at one point I actually did, in my 3rd game, that one of them was going to shoot the Hunter Killer Missile at a Capricus carrier, and I'm like, don't. You were already firing heavy stubbers at it. You are going to destroy it because it is 4-up open top toughness. I was like, you have enough to kill it. Save the Hunter Killer Missile. So he did, and then he shot the Hunter Killer Missile and blew up the Land Fortress with it. And I was like, okay, I'm going to stop helping people.
But then after getting some food and refresh, we got another briefing.
Yep.
At this time, Chaos was still saying, ha 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 ha, I have everything. I am doing good. Trazen was like, I don't like any of this. I'm here to fix it. You all should be following me because I'm going to fix things.
Yeah.
And then the Death Watch was like, yeah, we got to kill more Xenos. And I was like, oh my gosh, you were so Death Watch. But
yeah, I gotta kill the aliens. And what's so funny too is just kill all the aliens. And it's like, point of order, we're only like semi-aliens. Is that cool? Like you were hunting Tyranids, I'm hunting Tyranids. Is that kind of anyway? Yeah. So we got into round 2, and we went into
Fenris.
That's right, because Fenris was the
Ice
table.
World.
Yeah, the Ice World, which actually kind of felt good with like all the heavy coats and stuff. It's actually kind of cool.
It was.
So that was the one that had the environmental thing was the storm. So you roll to see if the storm abates, and if it's more than 12, then you're -1 to shoot. And yeah, I went first, so I kept rolling all the things and So this was a table that did not have a ton of terrain on it, and I'm facing Black Templars, so it was Aaron's Black Templars. Not having a lot of terrain is bad for a melee army because it's a shooting gallery. But it turns out if you can't hit, it doesn't matter.
Well, and here's
because I got top of 1.
Yeah.
And I did not hit with any of my shots on the top of 1.
The problem with Votann. We're a 4-up shooting army.
Mm-hmm.
We only get good if we're either shooting at people on the objectives, or once we're in Fortify, being on the objectives and shooting. Because that gets us to the 3s.
What's this mythical fortified thing that I've heard about? Because with yield points, you get enough yield points, you can get into fortified fortified acquisition.
How about this?
I have yet to get anywhere near getting enough yield points for that.
How about this? Maybe we'll swap out and have you do the need guard detachment.
I might actually.
Their special rule gets them a yield point every turn.
Yeah.
Do you have a Mimner?
Yeah.
Do you have him on the point?
Yeah.
So every turn he's cranking you up by 1? Okay.
And I'm still not able to get there.
Are you spending yield points?
No.
Oh, God.
Because every time I put something on an objective, they immediately get shut off because I get points for being on objectives.
Right.
And they immediately get shot off.
Okay.
And then my games, spoilers, none of my games have gone past turn 3.
And not all because of time?
Yeah. And the first one went to turn 3 because we were both kind of slow. We were both learning. We were both chit-chatting. So, no, the other games didn't go past turn 3 because I didn't have anything left on the table.
Spoilers. Okay, so...
So in this game, Aaron lined up and he had a Kratos tank, which is the 30K, like big tank. He had another, I think he had the repulsor executioner as well. And then a couple other things and like Crusader squads and all that stuff. And, so like top of 1, like I had to shoot. Everything was, because it was hammer and anvil. So we were at the long edge of the deployment zones. Everything was past 12. So I went first, moved up, shot, did not hit with anything. I don't think I landed any hits at all. Top of 1. And then he assaulted in and started shooting and just blew up. Like he blew up my land fortress bottom of 1 with just the Kratos. Like just because from the battle tank and the hunter killer missile, and I think it has like las cannon sponsons, blew it up right there. And it's like, yeah, he's because the -1 for him didn't impact as much. And I think he was able to like pull it up and get close enough. But yeah. So like poor placement on mine. After that, like that's kind of just how it went, and I kept rolling the 1 on the table, so like we never had the storm go away. So I was anything past 12, I was at 5.
Oh, Fenris didn't like you.
No, it did not. As I put in the Discord, I went to Fenris and all I got was my ass kicked. Because it still worked well. Like I was still able to do some of the objectives and scored some points. I ended up it was 60 to 24. Still able to do some stuff, but yeah, it just melee Templar, like they're good. Like
no, we knew
army.
that part.
Yeah. So like I'm trying to think of like what interesting stuff happened in that one. Burry actually did like almost took out like a Crusader squad by himself with like sweep attacks, and then like finished killing that unit and was standing out there on his own. Then the Kratos, after just blowing up the land fortress, turned and fired all of its guns at him and just obliterated him.
Oh,
so
ouch.
Yeah, I was like, oh well, okay. Emperor's Champion gets work done.
Yeah,
like so. It was a good game, but that was one where I swapped out. I think I swapped out one of my warriors and a couple of, and like one of the vehicles, and put in my Hearthguard and my Einherjar champion.
Mm.
And then the Einherjar champion, I gave him the relic, whatever, so you can deep strike the units. As another pro tip for, because you come to us for the pro gameplay tips, when you put a unit in reserve, you need to remember to do something with them. Because it turns out that if you just put like 300 points in reserve and then they never come on the table, you're in a bad situation. You're probably going to lose.
That's called handicapping yourself.
Yeah. So like I said, this is mostly my fault. But yeah, my dice were pretty bad that game, especially that top of one where I just was not hitting with anything. And like I said, like all of the shots, like the unit of Steel Jacks with like the Volkite Disintegrators, 36 shots.
Yep.
I did not hit with any of them. I did not hit anything top of one. I missed all of my shots for my entire army.
I mean,
like, it was
even
bad.
with the -1, that would be a 5 up.
Yeah.
You would think you'd hit at least.
No, you would think you would hit something.
Yeah.
No, I missed everything. I did nothing top of one.
Did you paint Stormtrooper helmets on the top of your Votann?
Sort of. Anyway, yeah. It was a fun game, though. Like, great opponent. So like that. Like, it's a very fun game. But yeah, my dice completely abandoned me for a couple turns that game.
Well, for my second round, it was nostalgia round.
Yeah.
This is funny to me. The guy across from me, I recognized him. He Adeptus Mechanicus, and I played him last year.
Nice.
And this was the same list he took last year. He brought again this year. Last year, I had I believe, a narrow victory. So this was kind of like a grudge match.
Yep.
Part 2 of this, though, the AdMech player to the table to my right, who was playing Matt's Votann, he was the AdMech player I played 2 years ago. So
nice.
It was like, wow. And then they were the two AdMechs talking. It's like, wow, I don't play AdMech much, but you're the guy I played 2 years ago. You're the guy I played last year. This is cool. So that goes back to the seeing people that you've played before, getting to know them. I unfortunately am horrible with names, so I don't remember any of their names, even now who just played them yesterday.
Yeah, I mean, that's why I wrote everything down. Actually, I was just thinking of this now when you mentioned this. Last year, our Chaos Battle Group, did we fight your battle group?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, because I was thinking, this just came to my mind. The Tau player on our battle group, I think I played last year.
Nice.
Yeah, I just realized that because it was the Shadow Sun slap fight.
Talk with him.
Yeah, I just remembered that. Okay, sorry.
Small world.
Yeah, I just remembered. It's like, no, I played that army last year. Sorry.
No. You said your mission or your deployment was Hammer and Anvil.
Yes.
Ours was the 14 inches dot 8 inches. So we had half the... that little, like, 2 rectangle thing.
With the circle in the middle?
No.
Or, okay.
Yeah, the flat, like...
Interesting.
Dawn of War, 14 inches down on one side, 8 inches down on the other.
Okay, yeah. Okay, Dawn of War. Okay.
Dawn of War side.
Dawn of War, okay.
So that goes to show you, like, each table would have a different deployment setup. And I guess we didn't talk about this, but when you registered, you were given a card. And in the past, it was like the Fool, the Galaxy.
Yeah, in the past, it was a really cool like tarot card with like the Emperor's Tarot, and it kind of played into like the Arcs of Omen thing, so it was like cool artwork. This year, unfortunately, it is just like a number.
Yeah.
But like it's
the cards
fine.
still look nice.
Yeah.
And they do that so that way in their system, they already know all of the pairings for the entire weekend.
Yeah.
Because they've got it and they know what battle groups here, what armies people are playing, so they can kind of try to pair you up with different things.
Well, and that's why I like having the rooms being like the missions being room specific.
Yes.
Because then you don't have to worry about like escalating and like this one. So this you can set the missions and the tables for the table and the room that you have, and you don't have to worry about it the rest of the week.
But I just want to kind of explain that we were doing the same mission, but we had different
stuff.
terrain set up.
Yeah.
My problem with Fenris table that I had...
They took all of the terrain off of my table and put it on yours.
Yeah, mine was terrain thick.
Yeah.
So much so, half of the board my vehicles couldn't get to or through. And that's a problem for me.
Yeah.
So I found my lanes, and that's kind of what I had to stick to. He got top of 1, and my non-upgraded land fortress got blown up. He also blew up a Sagittar, and it was like, losing vehicles early hurts because Votann only moved 5 inches.
Yes.
That is slow. My vehicles at least move 10, so it's like double. So he got the early initial strike. I tried to kind of swing in, get a flank, move all my vehicles to where I had like firing lanes in an open area. And I told him about the other land fortress had the feel no pain and whatnot. He still went after it because he was trying to kill both of them with his robot chickens, whatever you call them.
Right.
Chickens. Chicken walkers.
Yeah.
Yeah, my big story in this game is that land fortress would not die. It tanked also because of the toughness 13, he couldn't wound it as easily with the las guns, or the laser guns, whatever he had on the chickens. And I was feel no paining really well on that. And then whatever I did in between turns, repairing it. So he got the big initial push. He was winning by a lot. But then I started coming back. I cleared out his stuff on the side where the land fortress was. I cleared out his stuff on the other side. I got annoyed at his sniper guy because he brought Stiltskin. Stiltskin took out my Arcanist Evaluator. The Evaluator did not get a chance to blow himself up.
Aw.
So know what I did in return?
Shot him dead.
My Sagittar sniped the sniper. Well, shot the sniper. I like saying sniped the sniper because I killed him in one round of shooting.
Sniper no snipe.
Yeah. And then he also had Call on the board. Call is crazy good now.
Yes.
Call is even good in melee. He took out my melee Steeljacks.
Yeah, they've done a lot of work to make AdMech functional.
Well, and that's what he was saying. He's like, yeah, my AdMech rules are a lot better now than they were.
It's like they're almost an army now.
No, he did great. And then the other thing was like, he brought so much stuff of the land fortress. Everything. He was throwing everything at it. He's like, I just want to kill your other land fortress. He got it down to 2 wounds, got it down, and I'd heal it up. He'd get it down to like 3 wounds. I'd heal it up. And he just, because I was trying to take out everything that could harm it. And then finally, I don't want to say gave up, but because even on the last turns, he was trying to shoot it with his like stub guns on his transport vehicle. And then I blew that transport vehicle up. It was a back and forth bloody game. Oh yeah. He also dropped down the flyers that have the flamers. And they did not much. I sent the Grimnar over there afterwards, and the Grimnar pretty much took out the whole squad by himself. I was like, oh my. And so it was a lot of fun. He was a great guy to play against both times, last year and this year. And just the banter and rapport we had, I enjoyed. In the end, like I said, on like turn 4, they could start burning or doing the destroy anomaly action. He was able to do it on 3 points, giving him like 15 extra points at the end.
Yep.
And thus beat me by 5 points.
Oof.
So it was a 55-51 or 55-50 win for him, but it was a heck of a good game. In the end, all he had left was 3 chicken stalkers with auto guns, not the las, and Call. That's the only 4 units he had on, or 4 models he had on the board, 2 units. While I still had like a Grimnar, a Mimner, my land fortress that won't die, a Sagittar, some Jaegers. I mean, I had a lot of my army left, but the problem I had is even if the game continued, his stuff was over in a corner that I couldn't see, and I couldn't even drive to.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. That's why, like, part of me is, like, even though they're not, like, particularly good, and actually I don't know what the range is offhand when I think about this, so I'll look it up, but the, you almost need, like, the artillery, because...
They're only 36 and 24
is it only
as well.
36?
Yeah,
okay,
the
so
longest is
not,
36. Yeah.
I mean, but you almost need that because it is at least longer range than a lot of your other stuff.
And the thing about it, that's indirect fire. So
yeah, I mean, that's the other thing. That's actually good.
Right,
I mean,
that's what I was getting at, is if you can't see them, well, you can still indirect.
Yeah.
But no, I'm not still fond of those. I'm trying to look it up.
Yeah, I mean, they're not great.
Yeah.
I have them built, and I brought them, but I don't think they're quite worth it. But it at least gives you a little bit more range. Because the one thing that I've realized with the Thunderkin is if you position them incorrectly, they don't do anything. Because they're 24 inches in very short range. And like again, this is partially me not having played the army very much. Right. It's me having played World Eaters before, where, default movement on a lot of things is 8 or 9 inches. I mean, like so.
Get used to 5.
Yeah. So positioning. The advantage of playing World Eaters is it is actually a fairly forgiving army because you can move so much if you position wrong. It's not the end of the world. You have ways to make up for it. If you put a unit in the wrong place with 5-inch movement, you are not getting anywhere useful.
Right. Well, and I'll go back to the game I had with the Admech there. I did feel he was outmaneuvering me, which felt bad.
Yeah.
And especially, like I said, when he started killing my vehicles, well, then I'm stuck. I'm walking. I was out of, like, my Steeljacks with the Volkite guns. They did not do much because there was nothing around them because... Yeah. And then, like you said, Votann is a mid-range shooting army. 24 is, like, the sweet spot.
Yep.
So, yeah, you got to get familiar with, this is my range. Yeah. Here's what I've got to do to be able to shoot them and then help them not charge me.
Yeah.
So, which go back to the Tau mentality of, focus fire, make sure it's dead. Yes. Focus fire, make sure it's dead.
But the difference is the Tau have 36-inch range on everything. So it's like, that's the thing. It's like 30.
Be more efficient. You're tough.
I'm just saying. Yeah. Well, that's the thing. It's like, so like, even like thinking back, and also I haven't played my Tau since 7th edition. So yeah, but it's still, it's like, oh, but I know like what I should be doing, but it's still like when you're playing the games and when you're very tired from everything that's going on, you're like, oh my gosh. So I'm learning. I'm still getting used to it. As you were talking, I was making some changes to my list for tomorrow. So
good. Hey, I'm coaching you slightly.
Yeah. So the other thing that I kind of wish I had gotten the opportunity to play, and like the game was fun, so it's fine. But I kind of wish I'd gotten the opportunity to play a team game first, because I could have potentially learned a little bit more about the army. But you know, it is what it is. All of my games have been fun. Like, that's one thing I will absolutely say. All my opponents have been great. All my games have been fun, even though they have not gone my way. After round 2 wrapped up, I'm trying to think if I did anything there. I just kept all the Wraithbone that I had, and I traded it to Trazen the next day.
Okay, well, I started having more discussions with NPCs.
Yes.
The Harlequin came by in game 1 to talk with me.
Oh, that's cool.
And, well, a lot of, like we said in the beginning, all the Lord of Wars, I think,
have come around
ones, And so I was asking them what they were going to do and all this, and they kept saying, well, you have to have faith. You just believe in me. Give me the stuff and put your faith. And I'm like, faith is not a contract. We need an agreement. And they said, so I was like, no. Yeah. Trazen also
You turned down an Eldar? Oh my god, you really have changed.
I try to say in my character when I'm doing this. Trazen also came in and he laid it out. This is what I need it for. This, and I talked about if we could have something. He said, you don't need it for research. You can keep some, but you're not going to find anything. And the way he talked, he spelled things out. He was very factual. This is what it is. He was cause and effect.
Yes.
And it was like very, I'll say, mechanical and thinking.
Logical, yeah.
And very logical. And we kind of hit it off there. I'm like, okay, this makes sense. I like how you're presenting yourself. We also, like, one of the guys who has been like a Voxel Calum 3 years in a row type thing. Yeah. He was the servitor first year we were here. And so he's now playing not a spirit seer, but a seer from Fenris. So he's kind of just like a guy on Fenris who reads runes and tosses the bones. Yeah. I was able to I got a scene from him. I paid a couple of $8 to get a scene from him. And he kept on telling me about fortune this, fortune that. You need to know the fates. And so it's like, my Iron Master character was like thinking, why are they keep on talking about this? And then the sorcerer comes in and says, hey, I will have his runes read. He looks, do you need wraith? Oh, yes. I'll read them for him. So he read the runes and he tossed the one down. It pointed like behind the guy to the left. And he was like starting talking about, this is the direction of that. Let's see what points there. And it pointed to like the water bottle machine. He says, oceans and water. You need to look at that. And while he's talking, the sorcerer walks from the side to where the bone's pointing. And then the seer looks back and says, oh, and maybe he might be in your future. And then he tosses another one and it points at me. And I'm like, And he says, see, we're drawing some links here. And then he tosses the third one, and it points at where the sorcerer was. And then the sorcerer kind of like not waddling, but slowly walking back in Space Marine armor.
Because he's a Space Marine armor, yeah.
To the spot where he's standing. And I'm like, and he's been trying to like recruit. Now he says, but is the faith that everyone, and my character like, why does everyone keep talking about faith and fortune and all that?
Yeah.
I need logic.
When I did mine, he was like, yeah, faith, like, Votann believe in faith, like, kin believe in that, like, kin even treat, like, their have such faith, they even treat their robots kindly, and I'm like, my army's all iron kin. He's like, oh, ignore faith then. Yeah, logic. It was really funny.
Well, and the funny thing is, he does that. He doesn't know as much of the lore as other people.
Yeah, it was fun.
So
it was fun.
He likes being corrected. Like
that. It was fun.
But character, we also went around and we talked to like the sister because people have known about the history of my Votann. I'll go way back in history now. When Votann very first came out, we went to the Kansas City narrative.
Yes,
I wanted to play Votann so badly there.
Yes.
Votann only had Call, Warriors.
I think the launch box is the only thing that was out. I don't think they like wave of models even been released yet.
Right,
yeah.
So it's Call and Warrior. I think they had Pioneers in the launch, didn't they? I think it was Call, Pioneers.
I think so. Yeah.
So not enough for a 2,000 point army and also I think the launch box. Well, no, So in the end, I found Votann could ally into a Crusade force of Imperium. So I took my Sisters of Battle and allied the Votann in there. And it was fun. So then the next year I finally got to take Votann. Yep. And then now we're in Dallas and Atlanta. Yep. So it was the Dallas US Open last year, not this one. Chris and Rachel were running it. Chris was doing an AdMech guy, and Rachel was doing a Sister of Battle.
Yep.
I did all the mission stuff to become the protagonist of that story. And my found the relic that the AdMech guy was searching for. So he crushed my Call's head, so I didn't use the Call in the last game because that was narratively appropriate. But I then fully sided with the Sister of Battle, and I was like, we're siding with you. We're allies now. So when we get to the grand narrative, there was a Sister of Battle, Voxel Callum.
Yes.
And so I went up to her and said, hey, we've helped each other, maybe not us personally, but our factions have helped each other in the past. If you need things, I'll support you. And then that's when they started trying to get all of the Votann to join them, which you might have heard last time. And that was part of it. And it was like, oh, this is cool. We'll build up some more. But we said, we can't break our contract. Because that's one thing we built in is once we've got a contract, we live up to our contracts. And we were already in contract with the orcs. So we could help you. And I think the decision was, we'll help kill chaos. But that's about as far as we can go. We can't join you.
Yeah.
Also, I'll toss in this other little tidbit. 2 years ago in Grand Narrative here, but I think you said her name earlier. I don't remember. But the lady who played the Valhallan was running Lydia. She was running that room, and I was playing my Votann, and I was like killing the Titan Legion, because there was a Titan Legion guy there who had like, I think 2 or 3 Titans, maybe only 2, but it was annoying. Or Chaos Titans, but yeah. And I was able to table him because, well, the grav guns at the time were amazing.
Yeah.
And I was in character, like, being like, see, if you need something scrapped, you just got to call us. And so then next year, she was the rogue trader, and I think she remembered that. So she came and, like, also pulled me out of the room saying, hey, me and the sister, we want to talk to you. We know you're honorable and all this, but you need to, like, we need your help. And I was like, I gave them the same spiel I just said. It's like, we'll fight the chaos. We'll stop that. But, and then, so this year, she is the Sister of Battle, Voxer called.
Yeah.
So, like other people would talk, say, hey, I want to boot it. I've actually been interacting and role-playing with her, and I did not think that the story of my Iron Master would go this way, but it turns out he's apparently, all this faith talk has gotten thinking of, like, what is faith?
Yeah.
And so we had a big conversation about that.
Nice.
And so much so that we said we talked the next day, and she did say, if the need strikes you, pray to whatever you need, open your heart, open your mind, let whatever comes to you, and then see if that dice or that cube of power you use is on the 6. AKA, she said, just one of your rolls can become a 6. And that would have been the active fate. And like we said earlier, other people do things like that. I've had the Harlequin come in, which I'll get into that one. I've had the Tzeentch Sorcerer come in, or the Thousand Sun Sorcerer come in and do something similar. And this really got to, like, I'll get to after the games when things happen, but it started the character thinking of, like, and so I've had discussions with her about, like, faith. What is this? What is the Emperor to, and I'll actually do all this now so we can have it on one.
Yeah.
So later on, I talked with her about, after I'd use that, like, the Emperor is humanity's ancestor, right? And so she said yes. And then I'm thinking, oh, cool. I'm starting to get it now. The Emperor is the ancestor of the Imperium. The Votann is the ancestor of the kin. Yeah. Okay, I can make the correlation now. Logic now wins. And then I said, but wait, kin support kin. The Imperium doesn't support the Imperium.
Yeah.
Of which she said, yeah, that's just human nature. And she also said, and chaos seeps in and we have to make sure we crush chaos. And we've had discussions about this, about, I'll say, esoteric things. And it's been a lot of fun from, like, having that extra thing. And I think maybe even like real military and generals, I've heard, go into poetry, get into other things, just to take their mind off things and kind of expand their horizon.
Absolutely.
And in my mind, I'm going to cross my fingers and see if I can make this happen. But I could see the two of them, if they survive, I don't say becoming pen pals, but like supply lines. Hey, let's sit down and have a drink. And then we'll talk about weird things. I'll see.
That's cool.
And it's been amazing. And also, because of that, he's been funneling resources to the sister. And apparently she's doing very, very well on the voxel column.
I believe that.
Because, as also, we talked the Lords of War, they progress their storylines by getting these Wraithbone. The voxel column also do the same. Like, when I first saw her, she had a little eye, like the colored contact lens to make her eye all white. Yep. And apparently she got
miraculously healed. Yeah.
Yes, Wraithbone to have it miraculously healed. AKA she took the colored contact out.
I'm sure she loved that, actually.
Probably.
Not having that deal with the contact.
And also I liked how the fact that they started saying the Inquisition is now investigating her.
Yeah.
And so it's like,
we had a miraculous act of faith. That can't happen in the Imperium, so the Inquisition has been dispatched. Yeah, and I like the fact that with like the voxel column, it creates a game within a game. Like you were talking about before with like LARP, things like that, where it's like the staff also has their own games. It's competition for the staff. Like, how can you engage? And this year, there has been so much. Now, granted, partially this could just be because of the Battlegroup I'm in, the army I'm playing, stuff like that. But there's been so much more interaction between the voxel column, Lords of War, like with all of the players. In the past, like I said, World Eaters, so there's not a lot of depth there. You know, it's like, what are you going to do? Well, I'm going to kill things. Okay. Do you want to kill things for us? No, I'm going to kill things for my god. Like, you know, it's one of those, it's like, there's not a lot
you don't get much.
Yeah, there's not a lot to do there.
Horizon.
Yeah. So there's been more here, which has been fun, but like, I feel like there's more incentive for the voxel column to do things and for the Lords of War to be directly involved. And that's also partially because there's 6 of them instead of 3.
Yeah.
You can have more people running around and doing more things.
And I think it goes back to the currency situation.
Yes.
Having the Wraithbone where you can use it for boons, or in this case, just use it, hey, here's supplies for you.
Yeah.
Because technically the Wraithbone does nothing for the players.
Yeah. Yeah, it's just currency to trade for other things. I'm trying to remember like where we were at with the Lords of War and stuff.
The Lords of War, Trazen was still happy with the way things were going. He also was bad-mouthing the Imperium, and also apparently Trazen had made the most sense to people by walking around that a lot of Imperial commanders were giving him Wraithbone.
Yeah, and you talked more about that today in day 2.
The Harlequin was, I don't say breaking down, but things were not going the Harlequin's way.
Yeah. And then I know that the Death Watch, the Watch Captain mentioned that perhaps I have underestimated the chaos threat. We need to focus more on that.
Yes.
Because that seems to be the true threat.
And then the vessel that had broken free has been gaining power and kind of dancing around the worlds and kind of becoming a new entity of some sort.
Yeah, which is interesting.
The assassin, he didn't really do much.
Yeah, so it was interesting with him.
Oh, wait, no, he did one thing.
Yes.
he called out his beloved associates that had actually done the most for him.
Yes. Oh, that's right. So he is doing his speech, and this is where like the humor and like the improv on like the Lords of War and the people that are speaking has been next level this year. He's calling out his 3 top lieutenants that have done the most, and it was, Inquisitor Xerox, whatever, and then I forget what the second one was.
Fire Spike?
Yeah, some of that was, Lord Commander Fire Spike or something like that. And I'm laughing at Xerox. I'm really laughing at that Thunder Spike. And I'm thinking to myself, in my own head, I'm like, there is no way third thing can be funnier than 1 and 2 that he said. And then he pauses and then he goes, and Phil.
No,
or
Secret Commander who's only known by Phil.
Phil. And the room lost it because I have never been proven wrong so quickly in my life. I have never been proven so wrong. I was like, there's no way third thing can be funnier than the first 2, and I was 100% wrong.
It was also the way he delivered.
Right, the delivery.
Because, at first you're like, okay, this is a normal name. Okay.
Well, normal-ish name, because even Xerox is
and the second one was, okay, this sounds like a player made up this name.
Yeah.
And the third one was like, oh, this is someone who...
Shadow Operative Phil.
Yeah, that's what a Shadow Operative Phil.
The day 1 post briefing was interesting because it was on the same stage as the preview show.
Yes.
So we've talked about it in the past, so we'll talk about it briefly here. Every year they've done the previews a little bit differently at these events. Year 1, it was broadcast. They filmed it in London and then they broadcast it to us.
No, year 1, I think they had people here.
Oh, year 1 they had it here, and then I think we got it the next day they broadcast. Yeah. Then last year, it was filmed in London. It was broadcast to us an hour early.
And it lost a lot of its charm last year because you couldn't interact with it. It wasn't live, so you couldn't laugh at it. There was no pauses. And
so this year, they did the live stream live on stage in Atlanta, and they brought everybody into the big ballroom. So all of the World Championships players, all the Grand Narrative players, so over 1,000 people in that room. The room was crazy and raucous. And they, and here's the thing, I fully believe this because I know they did a sound check and they did a walkthrough and it probably worked flawlessly. They had every single technical difficulty they could think of when they were doing the preview show. And it's nobody's fault, just, it is what it is. But
it delayed the start of it.
It delayed the start for a little while. They started it and they talked about the Warhammer Quest game and got really into that. And then they paused because apparently the Twitch feed stopped. So there was a delay while they got that resolved. The audio was bad in the room to start. It got better in the room, but apparently it was worse on stream.
Well, there's just a lot of reverberation.
Yeah, because it was a big room and there was a lot of crosstalk. People were talking and stuff like that. So, I applaud them for trying to continue to iterate on it and trying to find a solution that works for everybody.
Yeah.
Because there's a different energy. And I had not watched the live stream yet. I will probably watch it when I go home. At least have it on the background.
I already know what happened.
Yeah, but I want to see. I kind of want to watch it because I want to see how much of the energy came through on the broadcast.
Oh, fair.
I do kind of want to see that because being in the room, it was engaging. It was fun. There was something for everybody because there's people from the World Championships. There's people from all these other games. So when they did the Sigmar stuff, there were Sigmar players happy. When they did Horse Heresy or Necromunda stuff, those players were happy. So you got pops from the room, and obviously the biggest pop was for 40K.
40K!
But it was very interesting to be in the room with that, and I'm wondering how that translates onto the live stream, because it sounded like, at least from what we were hearing on Discord server, that it didn't, that it wasn't really coming across. But they genuinely looked like they were having fun. Eddie and Adam are here, so they've been walking around like that. Adam actually complimented my cosplay today. We was
nice.
He's like, oh, Jaeger, low key, that's the best cosplay here. And I was like, okay, I'll take that. I don't agree, but I will take it. Yeah, so it was cool to have them here. It's cool to have them in person because they apparently did the opening ceremonies for the World Championships. So I'm glad that they're doing more. This is getting more attention from GW as an event that's being fully supported. So I think that was very good. I liked that aspect of it. As far as the reveals they did for
10
40K,
out of 10. They got a new Votann.
Yeah. new Votann character.
The Tau ones look cool.
A cool, like, Orc Slayer Berserk.
Yeah.
It kind of stinks that it's a named character because Berserks need just a character they can take.
I mean, I'll agree with that.
Yeah.
But we got Bury. And they don't have that many named characters.
Yeah.
So finally having a third named character is kind of nice.
It is. And again, we don't know. Like, when they go to release this, there could be a generic Berserk.
Or the call builds two ways. The call can build Uthar or a call. Yeah. So maybe this Berserk guy can be both a named and a normal.
Yeah. I guess my hot take on this, and I'm going to immediately counteract this when we talk about the Ultramarine stuff. I would prefer fewer named characters and more generic characters, especially for the thinner factions like Votann, World Eaters, Emperor's Children. I would prefer you bulk out the generic characters first and then add characters. You can always add characters. And then, like, Ultramarines are just got, like, a box of characters. But they look super cool. Like, yes, the joke is Ultramarines are boring. The joke is Space Marines get too much stuff. And that's all true. What can also be true at the exact same time is what they're getting can be cool as shit.
Oh, yeah.
Because it's cool as shit.
Those models, one, look amazing.
Yeah.
And part two, they're known characters from outside of the tabletop.
It only took them a full year to fully leverage the single most popular thing that has ever happened in pop culture related to Warhammer. So we're finally getting a, like, Ultramarines detachment of... So it's the 500 Worlds Crusade. Captain Titus. Lieutenant Titus from Space Marine 2 has been promoted back to captain, and he is leading a crusade to retake the 500 Worlds of Ultramar. And there's a box set that's coming with him and his retinue of commanders, and it's named characters from the games, from the secret level animation, and they look awesome.
I mean, like, they look like the characters from the media.
Yeah. Like that. If they can get to the point where, like, when the Warhammer, Henry Cavill Amazon stuff happens, if they can start putting that out into the game, like, that's so cool.
I mean, and that's a good tie-in because people will come in.
Yeah.
I really like this. And also the campaigns, the fact that they had a bunch of support material for it.
Yeah.
This might be, because we always said, what's the entry point? How do we get people in? This could be an entry point.
Yeah.
And then in addition to that, the Warhammer Plus preview was friggin' awesome.
Oh, yeah, the Warhammer Plus... The Warhammer Plus stuff is getting to be, like, next level. Like, it is really good. I have been impressed with almost everything they've done on it. You know, I subscribe to too many streaming services, like we all do. So, the best streaming service, the best value for my streaming service is Dropout. If you can sign up for Dropout, it's like $60 a year, and it is friggin' amazing. It's awesome. But... yeah, $50 for, or whatever it is now, $60, whatever, for Warhammer Plus for a year is a great deal because you get a ton of great animations. The models, basically themselves, are part of it. Like, you're getting the value.
I don't
Warhammer
view the Warhammer Plus as a streaming service. I more view it as it's something that I get for models and my
and the app.
But, and then the streaming is just a side effect.
Well, and the thing I like about it is, like, you can get that app on Google Play or on, like, my Google TV, so I can just watch it on my TV.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it's awesome. Like, it is one of the best values. I get way more value out of that than I currently do out of Netflix, because literally at this point I'm waiting for Stranger Things to come out, and I might cancel my Netflix because I don't watch it. Yeah. And so at this point I'm like, well, Stranger Things is coming out in a month. I guess I should hold on to it till then, but I might cancel it after that because I haven't watched it in like 6 months.
Right. But all in all, the preview was pretty darn
Tau
good.
got 2 new characters
those
as well.
Are very nice looking.
Which are based off of the suits that, like, Farsight has. And they're like, they kind of mentioned that, like, now that Farsight has, like, left the Empire, they wanted to put up new exemplars of Montcas, so now it's like the Twin Lance, I think is what they call it. And then there was a third character for
Tyranids? No, Tyranids.
Yes, Tyranids.
It wasn't.
Yeah. There was a third model for Tyranids because it was a Hive Tyrant with lash whips.
Yes, and that was a hilarious description. He's like, okay, this is called Tyranid Prime with lash whip.
Prime with lash. He is a Tyranid Prime with lash whips.
And that was about all.
Well, it's as somebody pointed out the other day, and again, this kind of ridiculousness of Space Marines. So, like, yeah, so somebody won a tournament, and they got a Space Marine jump captain, but they traded it for the Space Marine jump captain with shield. And I'm like, yeah, that tracks. And they're like, what? And I'm like, there's 2 models for jump captains, one with a shield, one without. You know what there's not a model of? Any Chaos Lord on foot for World Eaters. Anyway, unrelated. Unrelated. Yeah, the balance on some of these things is a little weird. But, like, Tyranids need it. Like, they did not have I don't think they had a foot prime.
No.
Yeah, so,
Blackfoot.
so, like, that's good. That fills a hole in the line.
And then 500 Worlds brought some Necron stuff.
500 Worlds brought some Necron stuff. They officially showed the
Nightbringer.
The Nightbringer, which they'd shown off because it leaked. But they also showed off some Destroyer stuff and, like, just...
new Destroyer named guy?
Yeah. Looks cool. There's more to come. We'll get... I have a feeling that 500 Worlds is going to be the end of the edition campaign.
It feels like the Arcs of Omen.
Yeah, and that's going to introduce new models and new things for them. And, like, you might get some bundles. You might get some of these characters in those bundles. So, yeah, I'm excited to see where they go with this. Yeah, so we'll see. But the preview was good. It went well. It went long, which sucked because yesterday was a long day.
And that's why we're recording 2 days worth in this time.
If we had gotten through, if the preview had gone off on time, we probably would have recorded a little bit last night, but it was too late. We had to get food and then sleep.
But yeah, we got our sleep and then we got up for day 2.
Got it for day 2. The debriefing was basically kind of the same a little bit. Like
it was almost word for word on some of them.
Yeah.
Which got me thinking, okay, this makes sense. I think they're probably like, Zach's probably writing down things on his notes and things. So that way he could say it. And there's very, like I said, minimal changes. But the changes that were there is the Death Watch captain has now acknowledged chaos is a problem.
Yeah.
We should probably deal with it.
Trazon was much more direct and like, hey, bring me Wraithbone, I will give you tech.
Well, and also saying negative things about all of the primates.
About the primates and specifically about like anybody who gives well, also like the pointy ears, like anybody who gives Wraithbone to the Harlequin is wasting resources.
He started bickering about the Eldari. Because of course he did.
Again, Trazon is so good. Trazon's the best character so far here. Like the other ones have all been great, but Trazon's so good.
I mean, well, just like last year, we liked all of them, but the Orc took the show.
Yeah. Well, and it's also one of those where, because this is the first time that I'm aware of that it is an existing named character with fluff and lore and background.
Yes.
So you're not finding the character in the moment. You already have a good base.
That's true.
And that's interesting to start off with.
Yep.
So I traded some Wraithbone to Trazon and got a boon. Right. I got a boon towards my land fortress, which gave it infiltrate and stealth. And both of those would have been helpful if it was on the table for more than a turn.
Infiltrate's always
infiltrate was useful.
Okay.
It allowed me to position it in a place where it could get shot faster.
Yeah.
Because I didn't go first. If I'd gone first, it would have been fine, but I didn't go first. So I played Adrian from
Tabletop Titans. Shout out to Tabletop Titans.
Awesome group of guys. Okay, so actually, in 3 years of the Grand Narrative and 3 other narrative events, like in Kansas City and Dallas, because I think it was... No, did they do the narrative the first year in Kansas City, or was it just a...
they did it twice.
Yeah. Was it narrative? Specific? Okay. Yeah. So in the total of, at this point, 6 narratives, during this round, I managed to do my most impactful thing to the actual story. So the Tabletop Titan guys, who were awesome, good dudes, great, fun to hang out with, fun to talk with, so much fun. When Trazon came into our room, they were like, dude, we got to get a group photo with Trazon. Yeah. Like, we just have to. Like, so they stopped their games, they all went over and they all got there. So I took a photo of it while I was there. And like, they're posing and they're also like that because it's cool. So when the game ended and we were turning our results into the sister, Adrian went in first, like, yeah, this, telling the results and all this. And then I was second. I was like, yeah, I lost. And this is like, but you know what? You might want to keep an eye on these guys. And I showed her the picture and she's like, oh, oh my gosh, you have actual evidence of their treachery and their treason. So she gave me like a handful of Wraith Bone. And then when we did the later debriefing, they were like, so one battle group got caught red-handed consorting with the Xenos and have been purged. And I was like,
yeah.
So yes, snitching always works.
In
There's no
Imperium.
downsides.
In the Imperium.
No, in general.
Oh, okay.
There's no downside to snitching. Snitch always. That may be bad advice.
Yes, that is bad advice.
So, played Adrian. He was playing his Imperial Guard army. And I remember these games in a lot more detail because they happened today.
Today, it makes a big
And
difference.
also, 3 and 4, pretty much the same game in almost every meaningful way.
Spoilers.
What I thought about doing is, as we were preparing for this, I thought about describing my game and like in a certain way, and then repeating it verbatim for my second game. I'm not going to do that because it's late and I don't want to do that. So I'll kind of mush the two together a little bit because they did literally go almost exactly the same. Adrian had 2 Lehman Rogaldorn tank commanders, a Basilisk, 2 Toroxes with Kasserkin in it, and then a couple guard units. And yeah, just wrecked my shit. Yeah, I mean, he's a good he's a good player. He's played Votann, so he knew how the army like functioned. He knew what the threats were. Focused in on the land fortress immediately, blew it up before it got to shoot because he went first, so he was able to, and it was the table quarters deployment with the circle in the middle. Again, both games are almost exactly the same because they had the same deployment in the other game too. And I also didn't go first, and the other list was different in that it had 1 Rogaldorn, a Lehman Russ, and an artillery battery instead of the Basilisk. Otherwise, it was exactly the same list. And almost exactly the same results. Game was a lot of fun, but yeah, it did not go super well. Because I was thinking to myself, I was like, okay, I have a lot of anti-vehicle. That's good. Garter, relatively weak, so the Jaegers have like AP0 weapons. Like they're not really designed.
Jaegers are there for action.
Yeah. So it's like, okay, if I get to a point where I run by, like I can shoot them, I can take things out, like that's good. Most of my guns are strength 4, strength 5, so it's good. It really didn't matter. I did kill several units of like squads of guardmen, but they kept coming back and there was more of them. And I was not able to do anything against the tanks.
I heard a good story about the Steeljacks and the Ogren.
Yeah. Oh, I'll get to that. But
okay.
I guess he had Ogren. Yeah, he had Ogren in the second game. There was extra. It was an extra unit of Kasserkin. But anyway, yeah, the Thunderkin. And again, this is my fault. This is not anything. I did this wrong. I deployed them in the wrong spot. And just did not have, with 24 inches, did not have enough reach to be able to shoot the tanks. And so there was a turn or two where they weren't able to shoot anything.
That's also one of the reasons why I like putting them in reserve.
Yep.
So then they walk in and you've got your range already established.
Yep. So I need to think about some of that. I might put them in, a vehicle, or I might think about other things. But I also ran them as 2 3-man units, and definitely I think, especially against the bigger targets, even when I would hit, and I was also rolling for crap, which is consistent throughout the whole weekend so far. You take 9 shots and you miss with half, you only hit with half, and then you only wound with half, even at 3-up anti-vehicle. You're not doing a lot of damage, even though they're, okay, yeah, I did 6 damage. Okay, well, it has 18 wounds, so you didn't do much. If I had a 6-man unit or didn't roll for shit, I could actually take those out. So I see the potential there. I'm just not executing it because A, I'm not putting them in the right spot, and B, RNGesus is not with me.
Fair.
So in that game, there was a couple of interesting parts. Because the objective in the middle in No Man's Land was both of us needed to get onto it for our mission, and it just kind of worked out because it's the middle. He had a unit of Ogren or Bulgren, and I had my unit of Steeljacks, and they collided in the middle, and there was this big morass of fighting there in the middle,
yeah.
Along with his he had a unit of Rough Riders as well. So they came in and were fun. And yeah, 6 Steeljacks against, I think it was 6 Bulgren, basically fought to a standstill, whittled him down. Now, eventually he did get all of my Steeljacks, but it took a while because they're both big and tough, and they both don't do a ton of damage in melee. But they were battling back and forth. Bury and my Berserks did go and like wipe out a unit of, I want to say a unit of Acadian troops off an objective. And then immediately after that happened, the Assassin Lord was walking in our room and was talking to all of the Imperial players. And he got over to Adrian and he looked at the table and was like, what's giving you the biggest threat? Because I think he traded some Wraithbone earlier. What boon do you need? And he's like, that guy like single-handedly just wiped a squad. So I was like, okay, cool. The Vindicares are targeting him. So he then rolled like a Vindicare shield breaker round against Bury.
Oh gosh, that's amazing.
Like, one-shotted him.
Yeah.
Like,
that's what a Vindicare would do.
One-shotted him. And he's like, ha, check out your warlord. All this. I was like, cool. 2 up, he stands back up. You're like, what? And I'm like, yep. But you only do that once per game, and he did that, so he immediately died like the next round when a Rogel Dorn emptied all of his tank shots into him.
Oh, that's great.
But it was really fun. It was like, oh my gosh, we got him, and then he just stands right back up, and he's like dusting himself off. Like, what just happened? But it was a very fun game. Again, all of these games have been super fun. The best part of this is like the interactions,
the tidbits and the stories.
Well, and the interaction with the players and like the stories and like building the relationships. I didn't even record the final tally on that because he had points and I didn't.
But you got the Wraithbone in the end.
I did get I did get the extra Wraithbone in the end for selling him out. So, who really won in the end? What's your second game? Your game go?
Okay, I'm gonna apologize if the Tabletop Titans are listening. I know I knew his name at one point. I'm bad with names. And I'm not going to call him Sean, even though I just did, because they said I should call him Sean because that's not his name. And they're like us. They like doing digs on each other.
Yeah.
So he's doing Soul Takers as a Space Marine chapter. Technically, Blood Angels. But technically, they're not Blood Angels, they're Soul Takers. And what was cool at the start of this game was he told me the lore behind his chapter, what they're trying to do, where they're going, how the Blood Angels took them in and kind of mentored them. And that's why they have one unit of Sanguinary Guard, because they're non-first founded chapter. They don't know they're founding. They've got some mixed heritage. But the Blood Angels have taken them in, so they're honoring the Blood Angels. So that was really cool, how he had his story for his chapter. And I talked about how I had the whole thing with my Votann allying with Sisters of Battle type thing. And so I think because of our chit-chat, we started slower than other people. Mm-hmm. But I thought it was really cool, like you said, having those conversations with people, learning their lore, learning their army. Thanks to Rob, I know a bit about Blood Angels. So, and not the fact that Rob tabled me last time we played. Oh, maybe he didn't table me, but it felt like it.
And like the good thing for me is like Adrian and Carter, my next Imperial Guard player, both like I learned a lot about Imperial Guard because I'm thinking about doing Krieg for next year.
Oh,
and
then
like
perfect.
So like it was really good from that perspective. Like I learned a lot. I also learned what not to stand in front of.
Yeah. So in this game, I think I told him about my 2 land fortresses. Mm-hmm. I said, this land fortress, the one that has the number 8 on it, will not die. I pointed at the one that had 7. I said, this land fortress has died every time it's been on the board.
Yeah.
Spoiler, guess which land fortress he targeted?
The one that dies every time.
No, he targeted the one that will not die. I guess thankful for me, he did not have a lot of high strength guns. So in my mind, sort of like you were talking about with target priority, I knew those were my targets. I had to get rid of those 2 tanks, and then the rest will kind of sort itself out. Once again, like in Fenris, this table had so much terrain on it. And infantry can walk through terrain. Vehicles cannot.
Yep.
I mean, technically, I have a stratagem where the land fortress only can bust through terrain, but
yeah.
So he pushes forward, and this is in my mind, a well-balanced list where he has aggressors, he's got blade guard, he's got a couple transports, a couple tanks. It's just well-rounded.
Yeah.
And so he's moving forward, and he's playing really well early turn. He kept on hiding behind things, so I had no lines of sight. And then he just run through walls to the next cover thing. It's like, This is lame. So our first interactions was finally, I guess I'll say the northwest corner, because from me, if I'm at the bottom, I was starting to try and go there, but he had started moving his people there. So it's like, okay, this is going to be our battleground thing. So I moved up. This is Land Fortress Will Not Die. Moves over, starts getting up. I unload everything, kill some of his stuff. And then on his next turn, he brings down the Sanguinary and some Eradicators.
Yeah.
Eradicators got the Land Fortress down to like 3 wounds. Once again, he would have killed it if it was not for Feel No Pain.
Yep.
On the other side, he got his Blade Guard, charged through walls, and got to my Steeljacks. And this is the thing is, I knew they were coming, but I was hoping I'd have a chance to Overwatch. But since I can't see him at the start, and I'm in melee at the end, no Overwatch, he got to me.
The just as an aside, the Steeljack Memnir strategist like combo where you can Overwatch for free has gotten work done.
Yes, it is.
Like it is ridiculous.
Amazing. And well, I'll spoil this for you, Kevin. In one of my games, I got to fortify. Then I can Overwatch on 4-ups with that unit for 0 CP.
Yeah, I've heard rumors of this fortified thing.
But no, and this is where like you talked about your Steeljacks with the Ogren and just trading punches. He got really down on his Blade Guard because the Blade Guard could not kill my Steeljacks.
Blade Guard, one of the best melee units in the game. Yeah.
And he wasn't rolling hot, but he wasn't rolling bad. It's just Steeljacks are tanky.
It's a bad matchup. Yeah.
Yeah, it really was for them.
So in my game, I think it was that game. I actually did this. The 6 unit Steeljacks did actually they fell back from the Ogre. They were fighting and then they fell back at one turn. And he then shot the Demolisher Cannon from the Rogel Dorn at the 6-man unit of Steeljacks. And that thing is 4 damage apiece, and I want to say it's D6 plus something attacks. So he wiped the squad fully in one shot, basically.
Yeah, that sounds horrible.
I was like, oh, shoot.
Well, he learned you got to bring out the big gun.
Yeah.
Yeah, I also, in my game, to kind of handle the southeast corner where the Steeljacks were, had them fall back and then do nothing for pretty much the rest of the game.
Yeah.
Because by them falling back, I could have my Sagittar, my Land Fortress, my Grimnary and his warriors even got involved, and I just was dumping everything into the Blade Guard. I'll do my spoilery thing. It took me a bit to kill them, and that was the very last unit I did kill, because I ended up killing everything.
Yep.
But jumping backwards again, with the Eradicators, he brought down the Sanguinary Guard, all the golden guys with nice wings.
Yep.
The older models, not the newer ones that don't look as cool. There's my dig.
Fair.
And yeah, it was like turn 1, I killed some of the stuff with Shooty, but turn 2, once again, he's up in my face. I think almost everything was in melee, and it hurt. But he never killed things. Like he got the Capricus Defender down to 1.
Yep.
He got the Land Fortress low, but not dead. He would kill some of my Thunderkin, but not all of them. The bad thing for me this game, or a lot of it, was with all the pressure he had on me, I could not keep my CP up because I was trying to use him mostly to save the Land Fortress.
Yeah.
And also what helped save the Land Fortress and why it won't die, the Harlequin came in during this game.
Oh, yeah.
And made a deal with the Votann. In exchange for my winnings, or whatever winnings I got from the battle, he would test fortune on me.
I should do this deal because I don't ever get any winnings from these games, so I should sell them off anyway.
Well, normally they ask for Wraithbone. I said I didn't have any, so he said, well, here's the deal. So I rolled a die, it rolled a 4. So I'm like, okay. And he says, you have 4 rerolls for this game. I used all 4 because I wouldn't have it afterwards, but I think 3 of them I used on saving the Land Fortress at different times.
Did he give you the petals? Did they give you the petals when for that? Because I saw that.
No, he gave me petals the second time I talked with him.
Because I saw that he was giving petals out to like the table next to me. It was like, here, each of these is a unit you can give to a unit for rerolls or something like that. I was like, okay.
The only time he gave me petals, he did the whole toss in the air and let them fly around.
Yeah.
Flourish. But yeah, so I technically had divine or fortune help on keeping that Land Fortress alive. But also thank you to my opponent for letting me do the thing I like to do. his jump infantry, he like was trying to do something cheeky and come to my back line. So he landed in between all my other stuff with the movement. And then he turned around and I let him know I've got the land fortress there. It'll do this. He went ahead and shot my Thunderkin that were next to it.
Yep.
So I spent my 2 CP, spent my 2 yield points, had the land fortress unload on his jump infantry.
Yep.
Jump infantry were no longer there.
Yeah, I believe that.
And he said, "Oh, I thought you'd hurt them a little bit. I didn't know you'd wipe them." So that was... but I'm so thankful he let me do it, because that's always for me a feels good of like, this is the one strategy in my life. Yeah, my combo.
Yeah.
And I got rid of the Eradicators with the Steeljack melee, because like I said to you, I bring them in on the side. Yep. I try and tie up a melee unit or a shooting unit that I don't want shooting me anymore, because those Eradicators, it was 6 Eradicators. Like I said, with the first Tyranid almost killed the land fortress in one go. These Eradicators almost killed the land fortress in one go. Would have if I didn't have like the fortune dice and the feel no pain. But that land fortress will not die. I keep saying that and watch tomorrow it die, then I'll be sad. Yeah. So we went back and forth trying to fighting in those two, and what it felt like to me is I had my deployment zone. I was trying to get out of it to get to objectives or do anything. I couldn't, because he kept coming at me with melee. So then I killed the melee guys finally, and then guess what? He had more units coming in, like the aggressors who had pushed into the middle, started coming in. They didn't do much with their flamers against my vehicles, but man, once they got in melee, the Capricus carrier and defender, they were both gone. Yeah,
that's the thing. It's like I realize how like fragile the Capricus is. At one point, a unit of guardsmen with their las guns shot one to death, because it's like, it's not that great armor save. It's only tough 7, and it's not even that many wounds.
7
wounds. So it's like, weight of fire will just whittle it down, or one big thing.
But then after I had that, I left the Blade Guard alive, so then I could take out all the aggressors. I took out all the aggressors in one turn, except for his captain. Yeah. Next turn, then I took out the captain, then finished off the Blade Guard, and then we said good game. But yeah, he never got in my deployment zone, and I think their mission was to get people into our the opponent's deployment zone. Yeah, I was surprised slightly that he did not put his deep strikers, or like the Eradicators and the Sanguine Guard that he had in reserve, in my deployment zone, because there were pockets. I think he just really wanted that land fortress dead, which I don't blame him. Yeah. Even though I warned him.
Well, and there's times like that where I've done things as we've gotten to like the ends of some of these games. It's like, okay, I want to try to kill this Rogaltorn. I want to try to do this. And at some point, it's like, okay, the battle's lost. Let me see what I can actually get accomplished. Yeah. After those games, we had our midday briefing. There was discord amongst the Imperial sides. Yep. And at that point, I think it was then that the assassin was saying, "Hey, we should all pledge our support towards the Watch Captain." Yeah. There was fractures.
Yeah, there were two things. Two of the 3 factions had some decisions to make. Yes. Apparently, neither the Assassin or the Death Watch were getting a ton of support, and most of the Imperium support was going to Trazen. Yeah. Yes. So they called all the Imperium together and said, "Hey, we need to rally behind one of these 2 guys. Pick
and
who
it has to be one of these 2, not Trazen."
Yeah, they did say that. Otherwise, Trazen would have probably a huge following. And the Assassin came out and said, "Hey, I say we put all our pledge support on the Death Watch." Yep. And so they did. Chaos also had a decision to make. Yes. They had to decide whether to support the Thousand Suns guy and follow his will, or kind of lean in towards the vessel, giving it more of its stuff. And I think they're still kind of split. I feel like they're leaning towards the vessel.
I kind of feel like that too, yeah.
Because the vessel seems like it's getting more and more talked about.
Yeah. So also, it was that midday briefing that when they started doing the vessel, like the vessel things, or when the Thousand Sun would start talking about the vessel, he would say, "What is this thing with the vessel?" And then people in the crowd was, "The vessel." Yeah. And it was so funny because the end of the day briefing, the funniest drop in on this, because they're doing like the vessel, we must fortune, change. And then he says something like, we will see what the fates have in store for us. And somebody behind me goes, it likes to watch. And I almost lost it. I'm like, that's so funny.
But yeah, so that was the second briefing. And for the Trazyn one, he was like,
we're cleaning up.
Yeah, that's pretty much what it was.
Yeah.
And the Harlequin, while the Trazyn was talking, the Harlequin was just dancing.
Was throwing petals at people.
Yeah. And so not much there other than we could tell that the interlopers were definitely leading the way in this storyline.
Yeah.
And, well, I don't say we're winning all our games, but I think we're doing well.
I think we're doing well, and I think that a lot of other people are also giving Trazyn support. So
which is, it's all this, our little factors that add into it.
And again, like, this is, as we talked about before, of like multi-layer things, I'm sure the Wraithbone isn't the only thing that's going to go towards the end. I'm sure it's wins and all this other stuff as well. And priorities, there's still faction priorities.
Because the faction priorities are important for how your battlefield happens.
Yep.
And then we go to the
It'd be really cool to be able to be on a table long enough to get any of those faction priorities. So, fourth game, we're
back in Mordian, but in a different room.
Was it Mordian? I thought we were in Sanctus.
Sanctus was 3. We were in Sanctus.
Sanguitaria was 3. Sanguitaria was 3. Sanctus was 4.
Okay.
So we were technically not in Mordia. We were in the room next to Mordia.
That's fine.
Yeah. So we had a different, battlefield setup, things like that. I drew an Imperial Guard player, Carter, and I drew the exact same setup. And the same thing happened where he went first, and he had instead of 2 Rogaldorns, he had a Rogaldorn and a Leman Russ. And instead of a Basilisk, he had an Ordnance Battery.
And let me guess, you were tabled by turn 3?
I got tabled on turn 3 as well, yeah.
So mine.
So, yeah, it was very similar. It was, again, very fun game. It was very good because I did learn, we talked about this. He's feels like he's definitely more of a competitive player, because he talked about, like, going to Adepticon in the past. So we talked through, like, some of the things that I did of, like, what I could have done better. It's like, oh, yeah, I probably could have positioned them this. Because I misdeployed the Thunderkin, I think, where they didn't have range to shoot a lot of stuff. And he gave me a couple pointers, but also I had plenty of time to ask him about some of the units for
Krieg.
Because he was running... So one of the other differences is he was running Krieg and Cadian units, whereas the other guy was just running Cadian units. So I was asking, I was like, okay, what is the difference? Like, what do Krieg do differently than Cadia? And, like, what support do they have? Because things like the Cadian Castellan only can go in a Cadian or a Kasserkin squad, or, like, the Krieg command can only impact the Krieg units. So we were just kind of talking through some of that stuff to learn a little bit more. But it was a very fun game. But yeah, it played out very similarly. Stuff got blown up. Big stuff got blown up. He did the same thing with my 6-unit Steeljacks. He hit it with the Demolisher Cannon and wiped them from, like, start to dead in one shot. Very similar game. But, like, it was fun. They were fun games. It just, it was the same stuff. It was almost blow for blow, like, the same game. So, like, I had fun with it. It was still a good game. I learned a lot, but it was functionally the same as the other one. So
I got to play Custodes in my 4th game. So here I am. I've now played 4 different armies.
That's
Tyranids, Admech, Soul Takers, aka Blood Angels, successor-ish, and then Custodes.
Smartains.
Yeah. So, and he gave me a choice at the beginning. He said, I've got 2 detachments I want to run. I don't know which, so call high or low, and that'll be it. So I said high, and I rolled low, so we got Solar.
So actually, sorry, one quick thing I just thought of, because you mentioned the change in the list up. Carter was like, well, did you, because I told him, I just played at guard. And he's like, oh, well, I'll switch up to give you a different experience, and switched his list up to almost a very similar version of the list, which is hilarious. In the process of doing that, he took out the Shadow Sword. So I at least didn't have to deal with the Shadow Sword, which I do thank him for.
So since he picked Solar, I was going to fight a lot of Dreadnoughts, which actually I think played into me pretty well.
Dreadnoughts are small enough wounds, like low enough wound count, that, like, the anti-vehicle stuff really does work against them. So.
I guess the Iron Master is the only anti-vehicle I have.
But, like, or the Thunderkin stuff, because the same thing with the...
I'm running all my Thunderkin with the Conversion Beamers.
Yeah, I mean, because they do the same damage, is what I'm saying. So, like,
flat threes.
Flat threes.
Flat 3.
flat 3 against a 9 wound monster is a lot different than flat 3 against something with
20.
16 or 18 or 20. Yeah.
I told him about the land fortress that doesn't die. Yeah. He pretty much ignored it. So he listened to me. It took some damage because he got with Thunderkin in melee. Anyway, so we both held 2 things in reserve because that's what I normally do, and he had all his deep strikers in reserve. But I got to go first, and I took out 2 of his dreadnoughts and 1 squad and almost another squad of custodes, all dead on top of 1. And he said, wow, that was a major blow. And then he started positioning his stuff. I'm like, okay. And he then proceeded to wipe out on next turn both Sagittars, almost a warrior squad. But he positioned hurt me a little bit. But then the next turn, my Arcanist got out and started shooting his stuff. And he was like, I don't like this either. So then he spent the next turn, he spent 4 units shooting at the Arcanist, and it lived.
Wow.
I was very hot on the 5-up Feel No Pains. Well, between him missing a little bit, I mean, it's hard to miss with Custodes, and me saving some, but that 5-up Feel No Pain, he got it down to like 1 wound, but it wouldn't die, so he spent 4 units, and so now I have an Arcanist that won't die, apparently. But yeah, then the next turn, he had the Telamon Dreadnought charge my Thunderkin. All of his units were in melee except for his tank.
Yeah.
I was like, wow, this is turn 2 and now everything's locked into melee. Except they weren't locked long. Because his stuff pretty much murdered mine in melee.
Yeah.
The Thunderkin lived. The Warrior surprisingly lived. And I'd gotten 1 of his Dreadnoughts down to 3, 1 down to 1, and 1 wound on his last Custodian Guard.
Nice.
Nothing on the Telamon at the time.
Yeah.
Then I moved back. Everyone except the Warriors fell back because the Warriors had a pistol. And I was going to shoot that pistol at that one guy to try and get his wound. Spoiler, I didn't. I mean, I shot it and just didn't land.
Didn't do it, yeah.
But yeah, after falling back from the Telamon, the Thunderkin that were fighting it, they obliterated it. Because you saw what the Thunderkin... The fact that...
Yeah.
You can just... So many wounds. And he was being very cagey with his big vehicle, though. He was hiding it, taking pot shots at me, and then hiding it again. Well, not in the same turn, but I mean, getting in positions where I couldn't get clean shots at it, also because it outranged me, was a problem. I started maneuvering my land fortress to the outside and flanking it, and I also brought some Thunderkin in on that side to help wipe it out, which they did a job, but they didn't wipe it out, because this was a small squad of 3, as opposed to, like you said, the 6 will wipe things out, the 3 hurts things. For my melee, I brought in the 3 melee Steeljacks, because he had 1 person hiding on a point. And so I'm like, if I kill that guy, he will be off of all the points in the middle, he won't gain victory points for it. I failed my 9-inch charge twice.
Ooh.
And it was a 9-inch charge, because by this time I was in Fortify. And I had no way of reducing mine because I wasn't spending fast enough. So I was just like, yeah, I'm just going up. I'm stuck here. But I also thought Fortify is the good thing because I was on 2 of the points in the middle, 1 of my point in the back. So I'm like, I have the points. Scoring in this one was, though, for our side, for the interlopers, was pretty much kill 1, kill more. At the end of the game, hold the center and hold the enemy's deployment zone.
I scored points this game because I was able to kill units, so...
My problem was I did kill a unit every turn. I was not killing more. Which
because Custodes,
right, because I'd kill like even that first turn where I killed 3, he killed like 5 of mine in return.
Yeah, that's fighting Custodes.
Yeah. So that was what was keeping the game pretty even because he also was able to hold that point. We were neck and neck until I pulled ahead because 1 turn he didn't kill anything. Because he only had like 3 units left on the board. And I killed 1 of his units.
So that is more.
So I got that more.
The math checks. That is more.
So that got me briefly ahead. But also in that detachment, he can actually have his dreadnoughts go through walls.
Okay.
Which was a pain because he had I'll call it the silver dreadnought. I think this was the Quillian dreadnought come through and...
The one with the shield or the one
with
the spear?
No, the spear. Achilles.
Achilles, yeah.
Yes. And it put some hurt into that will die land fortress, but the land fortress did not die. I was able to pull it away from that, shoot the rest of that guy off. He brought in his shield captain with a couple other guys. They fought things. I killed his 2 guys. Only the shield captain was left in the middle of the board. And I decided to back that land fortress up on top of him.
So way to do it.
Yep. Tank shock. He had 5 wounds. I rolled 5 5-ups on my 12. I was like, this is the best I've done. So yeah, the land fortress was backed up over him. And also we had a token that we was going back and forth.
Yes.
That guy had the token. So suddenly the guy's in the land fortress picked it up.
Yeah.
It was pretty much a decisive victory on my side, but sort of like
back and forth to get there, though.
Oh, it was amazing back and forth. At points, I was like, I'm not killing him. I'm not, and he's probably saying the same thing about me. He's like, man, I'm not killing him.
But that's an interesting matchup because most everything is tough 5 or tough 6, on both sides. So it's very
well, and thankfully I have a lot of strength 6, strength 7.
Yeah.
So I was wounding him a lot on 4s, and then once I got into fortify, I had transhuman on my stuff, which helped against the wardens because those wardens had strength 9 weapons.
Yeah, wardens are ridiculous.
Well, besides strength 9 weapons, thankfully they're wounding on 4s now.
Yep.
But when they go through, that's 3 damage.
Yes.
That's a dead steeljack.
Yep.
Those wardens actually stayed alive the rest of the game because I had nothing for them. Thankfully, they were far enough away because that was the other play. Once he got all his stuff in, he was kind of stuck where he is because custodes, I mean, they're normal 6-inch speed, so they're not super fast. And so I was maneuvering all my stuff away, and then it came down to he needed the middle, I needed the middle. It would have been a 10-point swing, which probably would have either tied the game or made it really close. And he got his guy there, but since I knew that's what we both needed, I had some Jaegers on one point of the point, the Grimner on one point of the point, the Steeljack. So I had enough things that whatever he killed, because this was already on turn 5.
Yeah.
He could kill one of the things.
You're still going to keep the objective.
I will keep the objective because I have too many bodies, which is, I think, Custode's problem at times.
Oh, absolutely.
They have so few, but they're sturdy and they hit a lot.
Yeah, that's the problem with Custodes is there's just not many of them. So it makes it hard to, it's hard for you to kill enough to kill more, but it's hard for them with the few units they have to kill more because so
once you slowly whittle them, and also my problem in that game, like I said, was I left a squad with 1 guy with 1 wound. I left a dreadnought with 3 wounds. I left a dreadnought with 1 wound, and then he'd moved them off to the other side of the board where I couldn't shoot them because once again the terrain wasn't as dense because I had more rooms, but we had a big blocking thing in the middle that I couldn't really. I mean, there was one entrance on 2 sides I could go through, but it was very line of sight blocking. I had to pick my firing lanes.
Well, and Custodes move very quickly too,
and also they can move through the walls.
They're very
My vehicles can't.
They can outmaneuver for sure. Yeah. After that, we had our final briefing for the day.
Yep.
The big thing that happened there is it appears that Imperial did side with the watch captain.
Yep.
And it appears that the assassin is being manipulated / maybe controlled, corrupted by the vessel.
Possible.
That's what I was getting from that. We'll find out more tomorrow for sure, but it sounds like the vessel is corrupting him
because he is now wandered into the webway and he's trying to get to the city. He's lost and going insane.
Yep.
And the Harlequin is leading him. And I believe...
I guess it was the Harlequin that was leading him.
I mean, it could be corrupted by the vessel, but the Harlequin's leading him. And so maybe the Harlequin, I'm thinking, is going to use him to fight against the sorcerer.
Maybe. Yeah. No, I was thinking wrong because the vessel was screwing around with the Thousand Sun sorcerer. That's the part.
And the vessel was... When the Thousand Sun sorcerer came out, the vessel came out as well.
Yep.
But they stayed behind him the entire time.
Staying behind was just, I was like, I feel the vessel's eyes upon me, and he turned around and stuck behind. It was very funny. Yeah.
And then for Trazen, the part that I loved was he called people out.
Yeah.
He called out the Tau, said, "Hey, you guys use your pinpoint shooting to help us out this way."
Yes.
He called out the Tyranids, said, "Hey, there's biomass there." And the sad thing, like you mentioned earlier, was we saw one person stand up.
Yeah. Yeah.
And he called out the Votann, which I'm like, yeah. And there was like, well, about like 5 or 6 of us stood up, which is still
But it was so funny because, like, yeah, he's like, we stand up, and he's like, yes, Votann, please stand up. I can't see you. Stand. Get on a box or, like, stand on someone's shoulders. Come on, stand up. Yeah, I was like, that's very funny.
And then I'll jump backwards. After the first one with the Tau, he had to tell them, now sit down.
Yeah, now sit down. Yeah.
And then, like you said, when he went to the Necrons, it was blah, 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 blah. It seemed more like, I'm talking to you.
Yeah.
And the Orcs was, just punch things.
Yeah.
And the Orcs all cheered.
Yeah.
But I liked being recognized as the cool thing there.
Yeah. They did a lot of that last year with the different, like, things that as you were progressing towards the I don't remember what they called them, the vessels or whatever.
The treasures.
Treasures, yeah.
Armaments, that's
what it was, yeah. As you're progressing with that, like, they would call out, like, hey, this group did really well, so, this, and, call out and have individual people come up at times and, like, put the thing in and, like, switch it on. It's like, that's cool. So, I like the interaction and the way that stuff's all going.
Here, I'll jump back for a minute. Finish the narrative. So, at the end of the briefing, the vessel actually was coming out. They cut the lights off.
Oh, yeah.
The vessel bent down and screamed.
Like, screamed, yeah.
And it was so eerie. It was awesome.
Yeah. And then it was so funny because, like, they cut the lights out, she screamed and she ran off. And we're all like, did that just, like, what's going on? And then, like, Zach's like, that's your sign to leave. It's like, it's over. Go home now.
He's also tired. His sinuses are acting up. He's losing his voice.
It was so good. It was very, very excellent ending to that.
Yes.
So, yeah, like, there's a lot of interesting stuff going into day 3. It sounds like Trazon is getting... He mentioned that, like, he almost has enough bone to, like, what he wants to do.
Yeah, he wants to have the Votann, I'll say this, guard the portals objectives so he can transmute Blackstone pylons onto them.
Yeah.
And that's his way to control the rift that's breaking up his... Well, let's just remove all warp energies. That'll solve it. Which it will, but I don't think it'll fix it. It'll solve it, but there's a difference between solving and fixing.
Yeah.
And then,
so it'll be interesting to see what we do. Yeah. I hope we hit the final 2 rooms, or different rooms tomorrow. I hope I'm not facing another guard army. Yeah. Which sucks, because, like, Guard should be a decent matchup, but yeah.
I think I would struggle against Guard. They have more guns than I do.
Yeah. So, I'm excited to see. Hopefully I get to play a Tyranid at some point, just because that would be fun thematically.
Right.
But as I was saying before we finished up the narrative stuff, so 7 Votann in our group. Amongst the people that we've been talking with, we are all running different themed Votann lists.
Yep.
We are all doing different styles, different detachments. We have a Berserk, we have a Jaeger, we have an Iron Master.
Speed Guard, the normal boy.
Yeah, the other guy's playing Pioneer, I think, is his costume. So, like, even within what is still a fairly thin, not fully fleshed out army, there's a lot of variety amongst the people that are here, and it's really cool that, like, we're all working together and, like, all kind of in the same battle.
Well, it's because kin is kin.
Yeah. And then the other thing is what I've seen this year, and I saw a little bit of it last year, but this year it's definitely been bigger, is people giving out, like, little tchotchkes and things like that. So I've gotten several patches. The Tabletop Titan guys gave me, like, a dice set. Joe, who's playing his Feral Guard army, feudal. Nah, feral, whatever. Feudal Guard army. So he's using, like, Cities of Sigmar models. Looks awesome. The paint scheme is atrocious, which is, like, that's
what he's trying.
It's, like, bright red and blue, like,
and
bordered and yellow. So, like, his Baneblade looks clown shoes, but in the best way possible. Like, it's crazy. But he had, like, pistols that he was giving out. So little, like, he 3D printed the hand cannons that they're using. So he was giving those out. I printed out a whole bunch of hammers and was passing those out and trading with people. Other kin had coins that they were giving out, and, like, there's patches and dice and all this stuff.
I've seen dice and coins and stickers before. Patches for me are new.
Yeah.
I mean, I know some battle groups would get, like, patches for the battle group,
but they're, like,
this is the first year. And stuff. Yeah. First year I've seen, like, so trading of them.
Really cool to see that level of, like, engagement amongst players, and, like, that's not something that GW is, like, encouraging. That's just a thing that's happening, which I think is awesome. So if you needed more incentive to come and go, to this event, those types of things are happening as well. And they're starting to be like, again, this is the 4th year of it. So I think you're starting to really see the community and kind of the stuff build up for it. So that's been very cool to see. All right. I think that's all for day 2.
Day 1 and day 2.
Day 1 and day 2.
All in one part. So we'll take a break. And then when we come back for recording, we'll do day 3 and the wrap up.
And we are back with day 3 of the Grand Narrative here in Atlanta. Very tired.
Yeah, very tired, very pumped. I mean, as I told Kevin as we walked out of it, it's just the finale is just energizing because you got all those people, all these hobbyists, all these Warhammer players coming together for a big story and the award ceremony. And it's just, it's a lot of recognition.
Getting to talk to everybody afterwards and see who was in the costumes and just getting to talk to people and nerd out about the hobby and what the weekend was and stuff like that. So it was a lot of fun.
I'll say for the other part, I'm going to do small spoiler, not really, but I think at least today, both of my games were really chill. And I appreciated that because I think I was kind of tired. Well, you might hear it in our voices. We're either tired or we might sound hoarse. Yep. But I think my opponents were too. And so it was, you think 6 games in 3 days is long? It is. But I think everyone feeling the same thing and being casual about it, it just made for just relaxing games.
Well, it's one of those things where, a lot of times, well, I do 6 games in 3 days, in 2 days at a tournament, or 5 in 2 days, like that, and I'm paying competitive, so it's much more intense. What makes this more intense is just the being in character, being in costume, interacting with everybody specific ways and stuff like that, and just and then the fact that we're all pumped to be here. So it's you're anytime I'm at these conventions, whether it's this one or Gen Con or LVO or stuff like that, you have a lot of adrenaline going, and then you have those crashes tonight and you're like, oh, I'm just really tired. It catches up with you. So we're all tired. Yeah. Both of my games were pretty good today. They're both great opponents. All of my games have been great. I've not had any issues with any of my opponents. The closest that came today is one of my games, my first game, and we'll get into it a little bit. I don't know that I necessarily handled it as well as I probably could have. And I didn't get mad or anything like that, but I was it was one of those okay, this is my 3rd straight guard army. I know this is going to go. So it's a little bit of defeatist. but we still had a good game. We still had a good time with it. Great conversation.
And on the flip side, based off our talk last night, you knew some more of your Votann rules. Yeah. Even though after, we were talking at lunch, you learned you still had more to learn. Dinner.
It was after all.
After everything completed, you still had more to learn.
Well, I did switch out the list a little bit, but we'll get into that when we get into our games. So I guess we want to start with the briefing in the morning?
Yes, the briefing. It wasn't too different from the night before. Yep. Chaos was still trying to use portals to anchor Shadar into real space. But the sorcerer was losing power because it was being siphoned off of him from the vessel. Yep. Which he had no control over anymore. For the Harlequin, they were still trying to go about undoing the work that was happening so they could return Shadar to the webway.
The webway, yeah.
While we had the Imperium finally discovering that, maybe Xenos isn't the problem here. Maybe we should attack Chaos because they're the ones who are actually causing trouble. Yep. And it was just duh. Oh, sorry, did I say that?
Look, the Imperium is well-intended.
Well,
sometimes.
Also, if you think about it, this story was being led by Watch Captain. Yeah. His job is to go fight Xenos, not Chaos.
Absolutely.
If we had an Inquisitor or a Grey Knight, it would have been totally different. We'd be out, Chaos is the problem. Chaos!
Yeah, for sure.
But, no, and then the part I thought was fun was the sister got to give a big prayer because she's kind of been deemed as holy now. And I think that's, as we said, the Lords of War gained their storyline by people donating, but so did the Vox Localums. And I know I donated a lot to her, and apparently other people did. So thus, she got a bigger role in the story, which I thought was really cool.
No, and it was really cool because she's had big roles in the previous years as well. So, it was really cool because she miraculously healed the eye injury that she had because she had at one point a contact in one of the eyes were cloudy, and then it miraculously healed. And apparently that eye injury transferred over to the Mordian lieutenant But yeah, because he was wearing an eye patch for day 3.
It could have just been shrapnel in his eye or something.
But that's what's great is that, the characters as they go along, like they change their costumes and they change their stuff as they go along and as the story progresses. So even the Voxel Callum were like making these updates to their costumes and stuff, which was really cool.
And then Trazen was...
Oh, yeah. I guess, yeah.
Was just doing... He was not happy with how things had gone.
Yep.
So he called... I believe, was this where he's told Necrons they're the only ones he can trust? Or was he still just dogging on the Imperium?
Midday briefing. Okay. I think it was in the midday briefing.
So this one... spoiler for ahead. But yeah, so in this one, he just said, hey, we need to do better. Go out there and do our... Oh, yeah, because we had... He kind of said... Each group do something.
Yeah.
And Votann needed to go protect places to build pylons. Orcs needed to
hit things.
Just do whatever you do.
Hit with stick. Yeah. So it's kind of a recap of like the things that he issued last night. But it was good to do that right before our games because we'd forgot it.
And I have noticed that it seemed like both night briefings and morning briefings really didn't have much change.
Yeah. Pretty similar.
I don't know if I like that or not.
Yeah, last year...
Stuff happened over the night,
yeah,
so
last year stuff
different.
happened over the night, and I guess technically, and I don't know how integrated this actually was, after last night, after day 2, there were some battle skirmishes, and there was a big APOC game, and Zach was like, yeah, the APOC game counts now because I say it does.
Yeah.
So I don't know how that actually impacted it. The only thing, because we came up here to record and then crashed, because I was like, I would love to play APOC, but no.
Takes too long.
The only thing that I know from the APOC games, the only thing I saw in any of the Discord chats was a picture from the game of a Warhound Titan, and across from it was 4 Baneblades stacked on top of each other.
They were the same size.
And I do not need to know any other context for what was going on. I'm fine not knowing.
But the caption said 4 Baneblades in a trench coat.
It basically was, yeah. So I was like, I don't know what's happening, but people are having fun, so cool.
Yes.
Last year, because London, the Grand Narrative was happening at the same time, the night and the morning briefings were different because their games were happening overnight.
And I forgot about that.
And that wasn't happening this year, so the only thing that was impacting it was if there were any skirmish games that people recorded.
Right. So it seemed to me, because of that, it just seemed like a recap. And even the wording on how they phrase some of the things was like exactly the same.
And we'll, they're going to send out a feedback survey. It's like that. So there's probably things that we'll put in there of like, hey, the morning and the morning and the night briefings are the same. Maybe the attendance isn't mandatory for both. I don't know.
Or maybe just have the night one as the results and the morning one be, here's what you guys need to do.
Yeah. So there's a couple different ways to do it.
But then, so we got through the briefing and then we got to our room assignments and we were in Fenris again.
Yes. So back in Fenris. So in my game, I was facing Matt and his Imperial Guard. So
wait, three games in a row against Imperial Guard?
Third straight Imperial Guard. And I will say this, if I sounded a little bit defeated yesterday, those were the easy card matchups. Because this was the card matchup that was a Rogaldorn tank commander, 4 Leman Russes, 2 Chimeras, and then like a couple Casterkin squads and Sentinels. And I did kill the Armored Sentinels, so I didn't get completely shut out in that game. But
maybe the universe is saying, hey, you've mentioned you want to do Krieg. Let's start teaching you how to play guard by fighting it.
No, that's true. Because the one thing I will say is Matt was a great opponent on Fenris. So as we mentioned before, the different battle zones had their own environmental effects. And in Fenris, it was whoever goes first, but beginning of each turn, rolls a d6 on a 1, 2, 3. The snowstorm happens, and anything over 12 inches shooting is -1 to hit. This impacted me when I played on there the first time because I didn't hit with anything. So Matt goes first. He rolls for the snowstorm and rolls a 6. So it's gone. So there's nothing there. So he then proceeds to destroy like 75% of my army on his shooting phase. It was old school leaf blower alpha strike.
I remember playing against those.
Because I don't remember which Leman Russ variant it is, but it's the one that had like the Nova cannon. So it's the long barrel Nova. It's the big Eradicator. I think it's the Eradicator, actually. I think it's because it's called the Eradicator Nova Cannon. It did, I want to say, 36 wounds to my land fortress.
It has 16 total.
With just the shots from the main battle cannon.
Yeah.
which is way more than it needed. And then everything else in the army was able to shoot the other land fortress and blow up my Sagittars. I think he had, no, my final opponent had played Votann previously, but Matt has picked up a Votann army.
Nice.
So like he's buying into it and has the codex, so he knows like what units are good. So he knew to focus on my Thunderkin. He knew to take out the land fortresses. Like it was really good strategy. Yeah, and like it happens. Like I said, I don't think I handled it incorrectly, like that I got like salty or mad about it. But I do know that a couple of times he's like, hey, if you want me to like undo this or let a unit come back in out of reserves, we can. And I'm like, no, we don't need to like do it. It's like dice happens. So I don't think I was handling it badly, but he could tell I wasn't handling it great, I guess.
I think he probably could see your frustration and trying to have you have some
and it
fun
wasn't,
too.
and it was nothing against Matt.
Yeah.
Great opponent. He was awesome to talk with. Because we were talking about what he was using, like in Zip. We were talking about the different tanks. He has a Malkador Defender that he didn't put in this list, but he had brought. So the Malkador is there's a couple of versions of that I want to use for my Krieg army. So he was telling me like how those tanks work. He was running the Lehman Russ chassis that was the Horus Heresy version, which I like better. I think it's a better looking kit that has a cooler aesthetic. It doesn't have the side sponsons built into it because in the Horus Heresy it didn't have the lasgun side sponsons. Adrian used the same tanks for his Lehman Russ, and what he did is he put Krieg gunners, melta gunners, on the back of the tank, and that was the multi-meltas. And I'm like, that's clever. I kind of like that, and that's a very Krieg answer to a problem, is just throw bodies at it. So I do appreciate that. And then he'd also mentioned that if you buy a regular Lehman Russ, there's an extra set of sponsons in that because apparently there are so many variants of the Lehman Russ kit that you get like an extra half a tank in the box when you buy it now, because there's just so many different turrets and weapons and stuff that you basically get everything except the body of the tank.
Right.
Like, again. So he's like, yeah, there's extra sponsons, so you can buy one of those, and then you have extra sponsons. He's like, there's all sorts of 3D prints you can get, and I've seen some of those. Like I have, some that I can print. But what Matt was showing me is there's instructions where you can go in and you can, using like an X-Acto knife and stuff like that and patterns, cut out one of the panels on the sponsons and then stick the sprue and the weapon in there, and it basically acts as an internal sponson. It doesn't rotate because you're gluing it in place. But I was like, I like the way it looked because it looks more natural, like, because it was like, that's cool. So yeah, there was things I learned. Yeah, it was a good game. It just, it kind of stunk because, the matchup, but that happens. The other cool thing that happened, and I forget the name, but one of the GW staff members who had been talking with it, I've seen at events over the past years, came by because her daughter was interested in learning how to play 40K and wanted to play Leagues of Votann. So she was asking if she could come over and like watch us play. Malik, so
he was standing next to
Malik
you.
was standing next to me, and he's a middle school teacher. So he was like, yeah, I'll absolutely show her. So he basically let her like deploy and was explaining how the army worked, explaining the lore, because knew a little bit about the lore. I want to say she was probably 10.
Yeah, I was going to guess.
Yeah, 10.
10,
so
11.
Old enough to understand the lore, but like not really like be too deep into the game. So like I'm sitting there having my game and I'm listening and I'm hearing like, them talking stuff like that. So it was really fun to like hear that and see kids get into the game as we talk about like.
I mean, I like that part, but I thought you were going to say that you were learning how to play more Votann stuff from him too.
Yeah, it was very cool to like hear all that and see that like directly happen. And we got some photos, at the after the event, with them and stuff like that. So it was very cool. Yeah, it was great. Like that was fun. We also got the Votann family photo, the Battlegroup 16 family photo that will get posted up on Discord. May use it as the thumbnail for this episode. Who knows?
Well, there's so many other good Lord of War and other cosplays. Good ones as well. Yeah, we might get a normal Lord of War picture.
Maybe. It was a fun game. Like I said, not a lot to talk about. It was, he had big tanks, and then he started shooting, and I didn't have my tanks.
So when you do Krieg, it'll be like, I like big tanks, and you cannot lie. Oh,
well, that was always the thing. Is if I play Krieg, the way I want to kind of do it is I want it to be an insane mix of a ton of infantry and big tanks.
Okay.
But also, I want to make sure that I'm, I want to know which tanks are overpowered or things like that, because I don't want. I don't want to show up and just curb stop people with tanks. So I want to make sure it's fun for the opponent too.
You want to play
yeah.
the game as well. Okay, I guess in mine, I didn't have an opponent. So...
All right, so on to game 5 now. On to the next
So the other battle group's table right next to me, our guy didn't show up. He finally showed up late.
Mm-hmm.
But since he showed up late, I didn't have an opponent. He didn't have an opponent. The Vox kind of had him slide over. And so I played it. And it was neat because this was a guy who played Votann last year and was in the same battle group with us.
Oh, cool.
I kind of already knew him and I knew his style. And once again, this was a very narrative, thematic list. These were Dark Angels who got lost in the warp after the fall of Caliban. And they're just now returning. So they were all in the black armor, but with the green shoulder pad of the Dark Angels. And they were just trying to find out what's going on. He didn't really support the Watch Captain or any of that because, like, what's this Death Watch thing? What's it? And it was a lot of what's this. So I loved the narrative.
That's cool.
Part of that. The other, I'll call it a handicap, but it's a narrative theme choice.
Absolutely.
He built his whole list using Horus Heresy 2nd edition formations.
That's cool.
So he said one thing in Horus Heresy is you can't take 5-man squads. So all of his squads were 10-man.
Yep.
And I'll call it a balanced list. He had like one Land Raider, 1 Dreadnought, 10 Hellblasters. He had 6 Inner Circle with a captain with him, which I got talking with him about Inner Circle versus Blade Guard. And he was hands down, he said hands down Inner Circle all the way. And I mean, after listening to his arguments, I agree.
Do Inner Circle have the shields as well?
No.
Okay, because they're not quite as sturdy. But
no, they're not. Well, that's what he said is Inner Circle. So he had a captain that could like be the superpower captain. They were character killers. They would go in, just murder the character, and then take out the unit type thing.
Yeah, okay.
Unlike Blade Guard, which he says are tanky.
Yes.
And he's like, but in Dark Angels, if you want tanky, take Terminators or Knights.
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair.
I was like, wow, this makes so much sense.
That is fair. Although I will also say, and I thankfully did not run into any Blade Guard this year, although I did run into Sword Brethren in game 2. Blade Guard are not, like, still put out damage.
No, they do.
Yeah.
Yes.
Like, they are tanky, but they do still put out a lot of damage.
They're pretty balanced in that regards. And then, of course, he had Deathwing Knights that he held in reserve to teleport him in. Intercessors, which, they still are, like, my favorite troop. I mean, they might not have sticky, but the fact that they move well, they attack well, their gun has both assault and heavy.
I mean, they're Space Marines. Like, that's,
They're well-rounded.
Yeah.
And I remember when I saw them on the table, I was like, man, in our Crusade League I did in the Dallas area, I was playing Dark Angels, and this was my go-to troop. This and the Heavy Intercessors. Because my Heavy Intercessors were I'm sitting on a point, but these were my I'm going places because I can assault, or advance and still shoot. So, very balanced list. He got first turn on me. His Infernus guys, so 10 Flamers, walked up and just flamed my Jaegers, or my Infiltrators. They were toast.
Just gone, yeah.
Yep. I had scouted some of my smaller vehicles up into things. He blew a lot of them up between the Land Raider and the Hellblasters. I don't know why exactly, but he had a vendetta against my Arcanist, the experimental man-scientist. I told him all the buffs I put on him, and that might have been part of it. And the other part was he wanted to kill characters.
That's fair.
So he went out of his way to focus the Hellblasters on the Sagittar they were in, blew it up. 2 other guys died coming out of it, because it actually did blow up. Then those 3 guys he took out with the Land Fortress. Or not Land Fortress, Land Raider.
I was like, your Land Fortress?
No. Names, hard. And then he had his other guys there who were there just take out the Arcanist. So it was like, well, you got him. And he was very happy about that. But, the other thing he had is, since the Land Fortress had Scout, because of Crusade, you could give rules. He had it scout up, then move up. So he unloaded the Inner Circle and the captain with it, made the charge into my backline to my warriors and Grimnir on the point. Thankfully, Grimnir has a nice invuln save, so the entire squad, including the cores for the Grimnir, were all gone, but the Grimnir survived. And so I was like, cool. I'm good here. So now it's time for retaliation.
Yeah.
So I had the Grimnir fall back. And then I just unloaded into things. His entire squad of Inner Circle plus the captain were gone. His Infernus Marines, gone. His Land Raider, gone. Wasn't able to touch the Hellblasters, but I mostly wanted that. Everything that was in my deployment area or just outside of it was gone. So once again, it felt like the Blood Angels Soul Drinkers game where they were coming at me. I mean, I tried to move forward, but they came at me, so I killed them, and I'm backing up to shoot and came at them. And so it just feels like I've got a new strategy with Votann. It's like, hold the line, shoot, back up, shoot. And it feels like Tau, except I don't think Tau have to back up to do that.
I mean, they do now. Well, they still kind of do now, yeah. Because honestly, you don't really move forward with Tau. But
okay,
yeah, I mean, like that fire and feint and like fall back, like that's not a bad strategy.
Yeah,
I am going to cut in here with a little bit of breaking news because I'm scrolling through Discord while you were talking, so I just got a notification. Janet's friend, who was here at from Discord, who's here at the Grand Narrative, was the guy who won Best Painted.
Very nice.
And she posted pictures of his guard army.
Oh,
yes,
gosh.
Absolutely.
That looks
well
wonderful.
Deserved.
Yes.
So, very cool.
All right.
Sorry.
No, you're good. No, it was a good break-in. Yeah. Breaking news. You can see these pictures on our Discord. Yeah. Anyway.
And you can join our Discord by going to patreon.com/preferredenemies.
That is true. I mean, the Patreon's there. It helps pay for our web services and whatnot. And no content is locked behind there. And in fact, that's where you can get ad-free versions of our episodes. Anyway, so
silky smooth segue, which is always great to call out.
So back to the game, I hurt him pretty hard, and he was like, "Ouch!" And we've already heard the story of my Land Raider that won't die.
Yes.
So this is a continuation. It was up front, and he started. Actually, he decided to, I think, not shoot at it. He shot at the Thunderkin next to it on top of 2, and I told him that I'll shoot back. And he said, that's fine. He only took out half of the Thunderkin. I shot back with the Land Fortress that was next to them, and it took out half of his squad. So I'm like, I think that's a fair trade. This was also the turn he dropped in his Deathwing Knights.
Yeah.
And they failed their charge.
Oh, wow.
So they were standing 9 inches away from a Sagittar that was close to 2 Land Fortresses. Oh, and also on this turn, I had the... I had the Steelkin with Vulcanite take the middle of the board. Mm-hmm. So they were had their guns trained on the intercessors. So if the intercessors moved, they were going to shoot. So I started getting a big foothold. The Ballistus was still untouched, and the Hellblasters were still untouched. So it was like, eh. So it gets to bottom of 2. I can do something now, and all I had left on the one side of the board where the Hellblasters were was Capricus Carrier with 5 Jaegers inside. Mm. So I'm like, I'll shoot with him. Who knows what'll happen? And yeah, not much happened. They can't. Yeah. They didn't do anything. But I brought on my Steeljacks. My Steeljacks failed their charge. And I'm like, see, Dark Angels failed their charge. I failed my charge. And jumping back, because charge is after shooting. In my shooting phase, yes, I pulled my Land Fortresses around. 2 Land Fortresses, the Sagittar, and the Thunderkin all shot the Deathwing Knights, and I killed all of them except for the chaplain that was leading them.
Wow.
I mean, to be fair, that's almost 1,000 points of my army.
But that's still impressive, because those Deathwing Knights are tough.
Yeah. And it was at that time he pretty much said, hey, well, let's talk out the rest because I see where this is going.
Yeah.
So I accepted, and we did.
I mean, because honestly, at that point, Deathwing Knights are several hundred. That's a good chunk of his army as well. So, yeah. So
it's the same as a land. It's actually more than a Land Fortress. Yeah. But yeah, his big killy stuff was that melee group I've killed, the Deathwing Knights I killed, his Land Fortress. He still had Hellblasters and the Ballistas, but they were far away, and I'd be able to pick them up because he said they could hurt you, but they wouldn't take anything out in one turn, and my Land Fortresses can. Yeah. Well, it also helps that I had the Thunderkin some walk on and hit the Ballistas as well. So the Ballistas was already kind of hurt.
Okay, so it was. Yeah.
So we called it a game, and then just kind of talked about where we thought 11th was heading, what we thought about the game and whatnot. So it was a good conversation afterwards. So
absolutely
great guy, a nice game, but it was my air quote feels bad game. Except I was the one, I guess, causing the feels bad, and I feel bad about making that happen. Yeah. But like you said, it's the way the dice and the game went.
Exactly.
he built his thing for narrative fluff, and I'm an army was a bad matchup for him. Just like 3-card armies were bad matchups for you.
That's the thing. They're as much as we talk about the game balance in the game right now, there is still an element of paper, rock, scissors to a little bit. Some matchups are going to be better than others. Some missions are going to be better than others. The thing that kind of stunk for me in like the first 2-guard matchups is we were table quarters, and like that's not great for me because I'm further away, and I have shorter shooting. In this case, we were on
Dawn of War, yeah. So literally, he could just deploy as far back as possible, and everything could still shoot me. Yeah.
So it's like some matchups just don't go very well. The the Dark Angels army that he was running reminds me. I don't remember if you went to the Renegade Open narrative.
No. You robbed in the narrative. I did.
Yeah. Oh, that's right. You were doing the competitive that year.
Because I said I would.
That was the year that I brought my Alpha Legion, and I was using all of the Horus Heresy plastics from that, and I painted them up in the Heresy colors, and basically had the same story. It was like, oh, they lost in the war, and then I was running them as Chaos because at the time the Chaos rules played more like the Horus Heresy Legion rules. So very very similar. Cool concept.
Yeah.
So,
it was a great concept and great army for narrative.
Absolutely.
I was just a bad matchup for him.
Yeah. So after that, we went to our
lunch.
We went to lunch. And then we went to the afternoon briefing.
This one was where we started seeing how things were going to play out.
Yep.
The sorcerer was still doing his stuff, but he was like complaining that he was getting more fits of power getting drawn from him.
Yes.
And that he just had to push on to get that final door open to lock this in reality space.
Yep.
The vessel was there, kind of taunting him the entire time.
Was the Harlequin involved in that yet, or is that
no?
Okay.
No, the Harlequin was last night, where the Harlequin got the assassin to follow them.
Right.
And this was the continuation of that, where the Harlequin got to the assassin and had him go fight.
Yeah, okay, that's what it was.
Yes.
Yeah. So as the man just starts giving his speech, the Harlequin comes out and is leading the assassin out to try to lure him into attacking.
Yep. Which he did, and the Thousand Sun guy took him down because the sorcerer would.
Yeah.
Although, as you said,
so it was great. So he runs over, he comes over and he runs at him like he's gonna stab him, whatever. Space Marine catches him, and does this and throws him down, and kills him.
Yeah.
And as Chris is walking
the sorcerer
past him, he is in huge Space Marine armor. He trips over him on the ground and falls down.
Yeah, no, and this was not scripted, so everyone was
scripted at all.
Panic.
Like, oh my
staff was panic, to make sure everyone was okay.
Over, he was fine. He was doing great. He was fine. But I talked to Chris afterwards and was like, "Yeah, thanks for the demonstration on what Fight on Death looks like."
And we laughed
about it. Yeah, but in the moment we're like, "Oh no, that wasn't supposed to happen."
Because to be fair, and to both the guys who are wearing the Space Marine armor, it's very difficult to walk in that.
I did ask Chris after the event. I was like, which was better, wearing Glitch's armor, suit last year, or the Space Marine armor? And he's like, oh, the Space Marine armor I can actually move in and I can see. When I was wearing the Orc arm, costume last year, he's like, I couldn't see, so there was cameras there, and I had to have somebody guide me, and I could only be in it for a few minutes at a time because it was so hot. So it's in this, I can be in it for a longer period of time. So that's good to know that it was a little more comfortable, although not impervious because...
Well, yeah, it looked more comfortable. The Orc looked like a giant monster suit.
It was amazing.
Yes. Yeah. And then we got to Trazyn.
Yep.
Who was very unhappy with everybody. He told his Necrons, you're the only ones I can trust.
Mm-hmm.
And he kind of then said disparaging remarks about others. And he gave us our orders, which was, I think, Votann was supposed to, cleanse the field.
Yeah, basically, it was Necrons... Hold the objectives. The only ones I trust to hold the objectives. Everyone else just go kill things. Just go salt the earth.
And this is where he also said, the Orcs, you just do what you do.
Just do what you do, yeah.
You could tell that Trazyn was accepting things finally.
Yeah.
As opposed to trying to guide. He's fine. I can't control you guys. You guys just go do what you do.
Well, and I think as I mentioned earlier when we were talking about it from day 1 and day 2, Trazyn is the one like existing character.
Yes.
So there's more to draw from, I think, from like a personality perspective. So, you know, the actor that's playing him is a little more free to like do more things, show a little more personality than some of the other characters, which, you know, everything for like the Magister, everything that we knew about him was what we've heard him say so far. With Trazon, there are other novels, there's other stories, so they have a little bit more personality to draw from. So he was able to make jokes about, you know, the kids in the front row and stuff like that, you know, or squat, stand up, wait, are you standing? I can't see you, you know. Yeah.
I mean, Trazon was my favorite Lord of War, just because the comedy of it. And
not even the best part, because when we get to the final briefing, him and Zach basically did like a tight 5-minute stand-up routine. It was amazing. Yeah,
and it just made it. And Kevin Noel tossed the idea here because we want people to post this to GW.
I want to see a Trazon the Infinite hosting a Space Ghost Coast to Coast style animation on Warhammer Plus. I need that on my desk by next week.
No, 2026 is fine.
2026 is fine. I guess. But yes, GW, get on it. That is I will help write the show if you need it, you know. Because, just Trazon roasting other characters and, be amazing. Have it on the spoiler on and just have him, like, make fun of all the failures.
He had us laughing so much. So and in the end, we talked with him after everything was over. He said, Trazon's not funny. I don't know what you guys are talking about.
Right.
And then we laughed.
So good.
Just because he did it in such a deadpan style. And I think that's what actually made it so funny.
That's why, like I said, like a Space Ghost Coast to Coast style show would be just perfect. And then with the other, the Death Watch captain, obviously the Assassin Lord died.
Yes.
The Death Watch captain basically came out and was like, yes, you know, we need to do a final push. We're close to winning, but final push to get and, you know, cleanse this planet and hold everything. So so it was really, you know, as we were going close, you know, so that was kind of the final push, is Chaos trying to push to open the portals, Trazon's trying to stop them, and the Imperium's just trying to mop up and
there was a little bit more behind the scenes. The vessel was trying to corrupt and control things because Tzeentch just kind of, who knows what Tzeentch wants? I don't know.
I don't think Tzeentch knows what Tzeentch wants.
And then the Harlequin, kind of like you said, was trying to stop them, but by the assassin distracting him and him losing, the sorcerer losing all his powers, the Harlequin was able to kind of dance some more.
Set him up for the final
failure.
Conflict.
Yep. So we got to a final conflict.
Yes.
After lunch, that is.
So the final conflict was we were back in Mordiad.
Yep.
So back in the first room, so kind of a nice full circle. The only room that we didn't get to, battle zone we didn't get to play in was Catachin.
Which I'm fine with.
Yeah. So that just means we didn't interact with that voxel Callum.
I mean, it looks like a Sly Marbo type character.
Yeah. So it's a Catachin jungle fighter. But still, it's like, that's the only one that we didn't really get to interact with because he was in his room and we weren't in that room. But we were back in the room with the Lieutenant and the Witch Hunter, which was great.
Yes.
And we were kind of chit-chatting after our games ended about, you know, the stuff they're doing and like how they helping run the events and the events they run.
I mean, I'll take a step back since we're talking about them is I want to give a shout out to all the Voxel Callums.
Absolutely.
I mean, all of them, as I told these guys, and one of these guys was military and they were two brothers in the room. And all of them ran a tight ship. Yes. They took control of the room. As I think Kevin said yesterday, they did their out of character speech and then they kind of talked. They got things going. They kept things going smoothly. They paired people up if they didn't have partners. It was a well run, and this was probably the smoothest I've seen the rooms go.
Yeah.
So shout out to them. They did a fabulous job.
Well, and as we mentioned as well with the Wraithbone currency and like the little bit of competition, you know, sort of between the different Voxel Callums, all of the Voxel Callum and all the Lords of War were much more engaged and much more interacted with a lot more opportunities to interact with the players in character.
Yes.
So the people who wanted to pursue that absolutely got to pursue that, which was very cool. My final matchup was against Theo and his Sisters of Battle. So
hey, it's not Guard.
Thankfully not Guard. And a better matchup for Votann because it's not like it's 3 up armor, but
and they're also 3 toughness.
They were 3 toughness, so I was
just like Guard.
In theory, I was wounding on 2s a lot, but all of the things that there's a lot of shenanigans that make them like not wound on, make them wound on, you know, -1 to wound, things like that. So It wound up being a lot of 3s to wound, but still. So we set up and it was Dawn of War deployment with kind of the staggered areas. Mordian is the anything shooting over 18 inches gets cover or has stealth. So it impacted shooting a little bit, but wasn't too bad. I did get to go first in this game. So I've gone first in 2 of the 6 games. The first game was on Fenris, where I just missed with everything. And then this one, I didn't miss a lot. The 2 land fortresses were able to kind of move forward, and I popped his Castigator tank and the Exorcist, which are like the only 2 big battle tanks he had, like the only like big heavy shooting he had. Popped them with the land fortress Magna Rails, top of 1, blew them both up. And he was like, "Oh wow, those things are big." Like he was surprised that I was able to take them both out so quickly. One thing I learned as we were talking as well afterwards, taking units of Thunderkin in 3 as opposed to 6 feels like it greatly diminishes their abilities.
Yeah, it's the same as Flawless Blades or the 8-bound.
Because both my units of 3 were shooting at because he had a unit of Paragon Warsuits in Morgenthau, and they peeled some wounds off, but didn't do enough to actually and I didn't roll particularly well. That was the theme for the whole weekend. I rolled crap the whole weekend. I think if I had taken a brick of 6 instead of 2 units of 3, I probably would have done better. Even if I had taken all 6 of the grav cannons or all 6 of the conversion beamers, I think it would have been better than taking 3 and 3. Because
I totally agree.
Because it just kind of felt like it was
my opinion for a 3. If you're taking a 3, it's just to splash it in for reserves to have them come on and help with something rather than being a key force.
Yeah. Top of 1, I blew up his 2 big tanks, shot up his Paragon Warsuits. They were still there, still pretty good, but kind of did some other shooting and damaged some other units. He had a mortifier that I took down to 1 wound. So really good, pretty good first round. Then he was able to push forward on his turn, got some shooting in, took out some of the things, blew up one of the Sagittars. Morgenthau and the Paragon Warsuits did blow up one of the land fortresses with their multi-guns.
I mean, that's not a surprise.
Yeah, so it was he did have some good retaliation fire on there. What really turned the game is after 1 on 2, because he blew up the land fortress. So Bury and the Berserks popped out of that land fortress when it blew up, or when it destroyed. It didn't blow up, but got out of it. And then he had a unit of Sacrosanct, which are the halberd and shield sisters, coming up the middle. So they weren't able to get to me to assault on their turn. So I moved the Berserks and Bury up and assaulted them. What ended up happening, and this was, in retrospect, this is my fault, and I forgot how good the Palatine is as far as damage dealing, especially because he was playing, and I forget which one it is, but he was playing specifically the Order of the Martyr or something like that, where it's as characters take damage, they do get better at different things. So they get +1 to hit and +1 to wound if they're below,
take damage
and below half.
Yes.
It's like that. So Bury gets into that unit first, and I was like, oh, I'm going to activate Bury first. And there's 10 pretty hardy shield and halberd sisters.
4 pin bones on them.
With 4 pin bones. So I'm going to do the sweep attack to clear as many of them out as I can. So Bury makes the sweep attacks, and it's 10 attacks. And I killed 8. I did wipe through 8 of the Sacrosancts. What I messed up with is if Bury does the strike attack, it's precision. So I could have sniped out the Palatine with 6 attacks at strength ridiculous.
Yes.
And it would have most likely, not guaranteed because invuln saves and stuff like that, but most likely would have killed the Palatine, and the Palatine wouldn't have wiped the squad of Berserks and then killed Bury. because I damaged that, he then interrupted with the Palatine and proceeded to do 36 damage, I think, to the squad, and 10 of them were mortal wounds.
From the Palatine.
Yeah, from the Palatine. So it was crazy.
Yep.
Or I think 8 of them were mortal wounds.
Yeah.
Whatever. But yeah.
And then
whatever the math is. And completely wiped out my squad of 10 berserks. So, and then later was able to kill Bury, and it's like, okay, well, yeah, I messed this up.
So here's the questions. Mm-hmm. 1, did you remember your berserks fight on death?
Yes.
Okay.
But I kept failing that. But I kept failing the roll.
And then 2, as we talked earlier, you remember at LVO the one time I went, how I took a Palatine? And
the thing is, like, as soon as it happened, I was like, oh shoot, I forgot the Palatine. Because the Palatine doesn't look like it'd be a melee model. Like, the model is, is just
it's more melee looking than a canoness.
Yeah.
But yes, I get what you're saying.
The canoness is like holding a sword, and she's like holding a pistol and like a rosary bead. So it's like, yeah.
I guess by me playing sisters, I see the differences. Yeah.
Game 6.
Yeah.
I wasn't fully thinking, and that's where the game turned, because losing that unit of berserks. If I had been able to directly attack the Palatine and killed the Palatine, I would have kept the unit of berserks alive. Bury wouldn't have died on his first time, because he did pop back up and then went and fought Morgenval and died again. But the Palatine, after killing the berserks and killing Bury, then looped over and wiped out my Steeljacks, and then looped over and wiped out the other unit of Steeljacks, and then looped over and took out my Ironkin. So the Palatine, literally by herself, took out
MVP,
probably a third of my army.
Wow,
just brutal. And that's where the game turned. So after that, my army kind of collapsed, and he brought in his reserves, so he had another unit of Paragon Warsuits. He had 2 units of Zephyrim with Hand Flamers, so they flamed my warriors off of the backfield objectives. They took out the other squad of Berserks, because Flamers and Berserks just, they fold, because they don't, So, so from there it did kind of collapse. Bury stood back up, went over to fight Morgenval. Did a lot of damage to Morgenval, but Morgenval does... What actually got Bury was we fought to a standstill in melee, and then it was his turn, and since Paragon Warsuits are vehicles, they can fire their melta-guns. Yep. So the entire unit shot Bury to death with melta-guns.
I mean, that's what they do.
Yeah, I mean, it makes sense. I was like, no, that's how it works. At one point, it was also really funny. At one point, he had a unit of Sanctified, which is like the kill team, like the Imperial Agents kill team, whatever, or like technically Sisters of Battle, right. Like kill team of like priests and stuff like that.
Oh, the novelettes?
No, not the novitiates. There's a new one that is like the Sanctified, and it's just a bunch of like Ministorum priests.
Oh, that like box.
That. So humans with like in robes.
Yeah. At
one point, they wound up in melee with the Land Fortress.
Was it just to tie it up?
I think it was. Yeah, it was really just to kind of tie it up, because like they basically were in a fight there, and they like kind of like spilled over into the Land Fortress. So the Land Fortress, I didn't want to back up and like, because I didn't have a fallback and shoot stratagem, or if I did.
Oh, that's right, because you're a different detachment.
So I was like, well, I'll just fire the guns here, and I'll just take the -1. And I thought I had a line on Morgenval with the Magna Rail. But she was 32 inches away.
Yes.
And it's 30-inch gun. I was like, So I ended up...
Oh, did you increase the range?
No, it's a 30-inch gun. The Magna Rail's 30.
24.
No, it's 30.
Okay.
No, because I checked. It's 30.
Okay.
I hope it's 30. I hope it's... But anyway. Yeah, 30 inches. Heavy Magna Rail cannon. 30 inches.
Okay.
But she was like 32 inches away, because I had like misestimated, because I was like, okay, fine. So I ended up firing the heavy Magna Rail gun into the Sanctified.
Oh gosh.
So like I absolutely created a smoking crater with 2 like Imperial cultists, basically, which I thought was kind of funny. I did eventually kill the Palatine with the autocannon from the Hecaton Land Fortress, because I was just taking pop shots at her. Finally nailed her, whittled her down. But yeah, basically at that point, he had just managed to mop up the rest of my army. I think we got to... After Bury died, I was like, hey, there's still a few units left, but I'm going to call it. We're at turn 4. You're going to kill the rest of my army. You can complete whatever other objectives you need to do. You're going to get those and win the game. And it's like, yeah, that's fine. So, and he had a flight to catch. So,
oh, nice.
So it was good that we ended a little bit early. But it's a great game. Super fun. Very, very back and forth, which I like. Good narrative arc. Bury died in 5 of the games, but every single one of them was like a super epic death. He ate the full complement of shots from a Kratos battle cannon. He got killed by a Vindicare assassin from off the board. from one of the Lords of War. He took a full complement of shots from a Rogel Dorn battle tank. He took the Nova Cannon from a Lehman Russ, and then he got killed by literally a High Lord of Terra on the battlefield. So I think it was fine.
Okay.
He earned his stripes today. But yeah, that was my game. It was a lot of fun. I did finally get out of hostile acquisition on my yield point, so I played a game long enough to actually get enough yield points to try out the other army rule for my army.
Which is a nice rule, right?
Yeah, it's good if you can get there. It's good if your game goes long enough to get there. But yeah, it was a lot of fun.
I'll do my, I guess, audible, and then I'll get into my game. Another fun thing is like about Mordian was it was 3 battle groups in that room, 30 tables. So one of our friends from Dallas was actually in the same room with us, and him and the guy next to him, they'd been in there before, played on similar tables, so they drug their 2 mats together and said, we'll ask our opponents if they want to play an APOC style game where just 2v2, so 4,000 points on the board, and just try and kill things. And lo and behold, their opponents they got were from Tabletop Titans again.
Yeah.
So here's why I want to do my correction. Shane, not Sean. So hey guys, I got a name right.
You got a name right.
I wrote it down, that's why.
I mean, that's...
Okay,
you can't
fine.
see it because
Kevin is holding up his notebook in front of me.
My notebook of all my
He's
games.
telling me I need to take notes, is what I'm saying. So I thought that was really cool that my friends from Dallas who are here got to play them. We got to play them. It's just small world.
I did get to threaten to because they were bringing their results. I think maybe from a different game, but it was the same group, and they were talking about how like he was giving his like, what do you want to do with your 8th bone? Like, oh, give it to the watch commander. You know, I'm a good Imperial. I give it to the watch commander. And I was like, I got photographic evidence that says otherwise. He's like, you shut your mouth.
That's great. But anyway, so the other thing about all of our games is I think they had so many Imperials. We never played a Chaos Battle Group person once.
Yeah. Also, from what I understand, and I don't know for sure if this is true or not, but apparently one of like an entire Chaos Battle Group, what didn't make it
Lost in the warp.
Yeah, I got lost in the warp on day 3. So, yeah, it happens.
So this is where I'm going with this. So my opponent for this in Mordian was Emperor's Children.
Mm-hmm.
So so I played against Tyranids. I played against Emperor's Children. Played against Dark Angels and Soul Drinkers. Soul Drinkers.
Yeah, Soul Drinkers,
not blood.
yeah.
Not Blood Ravens.
I don't know what you're trying to say.
Blood Angels. Yeah,
okay.
Blood Angels were the success of and then also I played Mechanicus and Custodes. So 6 games, 6 different armies. So I was very pleased.
That is pretty cool.
So anyway, I got the table quarters as far as deployment.
Yep.
Did not go first. So you said you went first twice.
Yes.
I only went first once the entire game, or all 6 games.
Oof.
And so he got I don't say he got the jump on me. He tried to kill some things. He did. He was being super aggressive. I mean, I guess you're supposed to.
Yeah. That's how you do it.
More aggressive than the Dark Angels were. Custodes were also... Well, no, Custodes I went first on. I hurt them a little bit. But yeah, the things he took out also made me have a fall back. And my turn, I took out his Land Raider, his Noise Marines, his Terminators. All the stuff that was in my face was just gone. So then top of 2, well, here comes the Demon Wave. Keeper of Secrets got in. He moved down the Demon Prince because he was running the half demon army, half...
Yeah, the Coterie of the Conceited.
Yes.
Yeah.
And...
See, I know all the names and the rules for Chaos stuff.
And so he'd like had his Seekers coming with the Noise Marines and Rhino. So the Seekers and the Rhino were fighting the Warriors and Sagittar that I had there. They didn't kill either one of them, but they kind of tied things up. And he was now once again, he dropped off more Noise Marines in the center of the board. The far side he had to spawn now controlling. So, and the Tormentors had already made that a sticky objective. And that one was like inside of a building where it only had one side open. So it was going to be hard to get to because there was 0 lines of sight in there. You had to get there.
Yeah.
And he kept pushing me back. So bottom of 2. Well, Keeper Secrets is gone. I used the wonderful thing that the Harlequin gave me, because we talked about it ahead of time. I was like, well, it would be funny to have a Harlequin guide our mad scientist arcanist evaluator through the webway to go kill something, and then even seem more fitting that this is a Slaanesh army.
Yeah.
So he popped out of the warp thanks to the Harlequin, aka Deep Strike.
Yep.
And he took out that Demon Prince in one shot of his stuff and did not hurt himself.
Since you mentioned the Harlequin, I forgot about this until this moment. In my final game with Theo, the Harlequin came by and was, asked if we had any Wraithbone, and neither of us did, because we'd already given it away. So they threw the pedals out, and they're like, each of these counts as a 6 for a roll. So we each got like 4. And we both used all 4 of them, like, in the Bury Morgenval fight. I was like, okay,
Nice.
I missed. That's a 6. Okay, well, that saves it automatically. It's like that. So, yeah, it was very funny.
And it's a very balanced.
Yeah, very balanced,
Fortune
yeah.
is fickle
Yeah.
that way.
Yeah.
No, so that was my good story from that game, because that was just funny. Although the Demonettes then kind of went from where they were and surrounded him. It took them a while to finally kill him because he had Feel No Pain. And Feel No Pain is a wonderful thing.
It is.
But yeah, I took
Especially
out...
if you remember you have it.
Yeah, I took out the Rhino, took out the Seeker. I took out his Noise Marines. He really, by this turn, didn't have much left on the board. He redeployed some of his Demonettes that were on his holding point and put them close to my Steeljacks with Vulcanite.
Mm-hmm.
He got up to them. He killed 2, which was pretty bad, I think. Because he was only hitting them with the devastating wounds.
Yeah.
Because they're just so tough.
Yep.
And he was not rolling many 6s. So then past that, I then backed up, killed all those Demonettes. My Steeljacks with melee weapons had walked on the board on turn 3 to take his home point. This was also the mission that if you controlled a point at any time during the game, then on turn 5, if you were off the points, you get 5 points.
Yep.
We ended up tying because I'd killed all of his stuff on his board except for the 8 Demonettes and the 2 Spawn that were then all hiding in a building. But here's the key to this game then. The Evaluator would not die when I needed him to. Because remember how I said bottom of 2 he deep struck down and took out the Demon Prince?
Yep.
Demonettes tried to kill him for a long time. But with his saves, the Feel No Pains, he just wasn't dying.
Mm-hmm.
Part of the scoring was killing... Both of us had if you killed one of your opponent's things in a battle round. And then the other one was kill more for them. So had they killed the Arcanist on their turn, I would have shot the Demonettes and he'd only have the 2 Spawn, and that would have gotten me the extra 5 points to counter. Instead, since he died on my turn, the Chaos player got the points for the kill, and then the Demonettes were able to escape.
Not that it would have mattered, because obviously I still lost the game, but you still score points after your table.
Yes, if you have stuff going on.
So I would have technically scored 25 points at the end of round 5, because I wasn't on any objectives because I was destroyed.
What, did you control those objectives at any time?
Oh, I guess I did control several of them earlier in the game.
Okay, so all the ones
the ones I controlled and were off of. Okay, so I would have gotten like 15 points at the end. Yeah. Still would have lost.
Okay.
It's
lost. A closer game.
Yeah, still lost. It's just closer in my mind. Huh.
So in the end, it was a good game. I got to see a different side of Emperor's Children, and I know I've been hinting at New Year, New Army. I'm thinking about doing Emperor's Children, finally taking that plunge. And truthfully, this was a good view into it because from the holiday box set and what I own now, because I own Slaanesh Demons, that would be my easy way to get into 2,000 points. And then maybe slowly build out the other cards.
You can do that for January.
No.
You don't want to plan a whole 2,000 point army in 2 months?
I've now, we're jumping ahead for an advertisement here, I guess. Texas Open is going to be in January. I have signed up for the narrative for it. It's January 16th through 18th. I don't know if the narrative is just going to be on Saturday, Sunday, or if it's going to be all 3. I'm betting it's just Saturday, Sunday, but we'll get more details later.
I need to get more details. If it's even now... I need to get more details.
Yeah, get more details.
That time of the year, the only problem is because this is technically like the issue with LVO is that I'm like technically wasn't supposed to go last year. That time of the year is when we're finishing up reviews and we're doing pay planning. So it's technically hard for me to get time off. So I don't know. I'll have to do some digging around.
Yeah.
Anyway, but yeah.
And if you're not there, then I will probably be taking a stupid, silly list that I've talked about.
You're still going to take a stupid, silly list anyway.
Yeah, I'm going to take it no matter what. Which, okay, fine. It's like descending height list. Mm-hmm. Where I'll start with the Revenant Titan, then drop down to a Scathic Wraith Knight, then drop down to a Wraith Seer, then drop down to Wraith Guard, and then a Spirit Seer. Or maybe swap out the Spirit Seer for a Bone Singer. That would be funny too.
I would have to paint my Storm Surge because I don't have it painted. But I could do Taunar, Storm Surge, Riptide.
So you're saying I'm doing a trend?
Well, because I keep thinking that in the old Tau codexes they have the Fire Warrior, Stealth Suit, Crisis Suit, and they have that, but it only goes up to Riptide. So it ended in a draw. Yeah, so yeah, that's good.
Ended in a draw.
Did you get any of the Wraithbone bonuses for that mission? Because
I did.
Because the Lieutenant and the Witchfinder were giving out extra Wraithbone if more than half of your army was left.
Yeah, he did not kill that much. And then once my guns got going, in my mind, I tabled him because all he had was 10 models hiding.
Technically, I never got tabled in any of my games.
Oh,
but
good
that's
job.
Only because we were like, you're going to table me. We don't need to like roll this out. So like I did get tabled in the last 4 games, but yeah, technically still had models of the table.
Yeah. So all in all, a fun game. I'm still very appreciative. I had 6, I'll say, good matches and 6 different armies. Because from what I'm hearing, 6 different armies is a rarity.
Yeah. It sounds like just Imperial Guard is just a bad matchup for Votann. With tanks
I think we talked about at lunch, and the other 3 Votann players there, we all agreed we didn't really want to face Guard.
Yeah. So I think that was part of it. I think I could have built my list a little bit better for it. So yeah, I mean, it is what it is. I had fun. It was a great battle group. They were all super fun to hang out with. Even if I'm not back in the Votann battle group next year, still want to hang out and keep in touch with people. We're on the, we have the Discord, we have the battle group Discord, and then there's a Votann Discord. So like, I'll keep in touch with people. The 3D printing and stuff they were doing was just next level. Like you posted photos on our Discord of the...
And people found links to his stuff already.
I did. I went ahead and looked for it. But yeah, he had a dice tray, or basically it was this thing that like unscrewed and the lid came off and it was a dice tray, and the interior of it was a storage for tokens,
and place to hold dice,
objective markers, places to put dice, places to put wound counters.
It was a wonderful storage bin.
Yeah, it looked fantastic. And it had like your army.
Well, when he developed it, he said, "Hey, I'm going to make these any factions you guys want me to make." And so, yeah, he made the different factions for each one of us. So I had the Ymir one. There's the
Ymir,
each of the different.
And then he also made pickaxe. Weapon that he made, and then he printed like a double-handed axe for the other one.
But the pickaxe was amazing.
The pickaxe was awesome. Really cool stuff. As soon as he puts up to buy the files, I'm going to buy the files. Because then we can have weapons and props and stuff for Midwest Conquest. Because they also, like, the head comes off and there was places to put lights and to, like, make it light up and stuff. So...
I think the lights are definitely... I mean, the design was really good and the detail on the work was good, but the lights are what really sold it for a lot of people, too. But yeah, so that was the games. I think we all had fun with it, and then we got to the finale. Well, for spoilers, if this ever comes out in a narrative book, Imperium survived. Imperium is not dead. They took heavy losses, but endured.
Yep.
The sorcerer died. Oh, pity. Oh, darn.
Yeah, he got snuffed out by...
I was going to say he bit the dust, but he probably choked on the dust and turned to dust.
Yeah, he got by the Harlequin.
And then we don't know what became of the vessel. It kind of just is there.
Is now just loose in the universe.
Yep. So just like... I totally forgot his name. Evil guy I hate. Vashtor. Just like Vashtor got let loose. The vessel maybe in 2 or 3 years might have a storyline, or they might have a new demon type model for it.
That would be super cool.
And then the Harlequin just patched things up and said, haha, play's over, go home.
Everyone go home.
And then
Trazen came out and was like, yeah, humans sure made a mess of things.
Oh, he has a new title now.
Yes.
Savior of Mordia.
Savior of Mordia.
Mordia, that's the word.
Yeah.
Mordian.
Because they're called Mordian, but the planet is also called Mordian.
Yeah.
It's weird. Anyway. Yeah, so he's now the Savior of Mordian. And then him and Zach did legitimately a Tight 5 stand-up bit for a little while they were going back and forth. You were the one they call Zach the Rockner. It's just, yeah, it was great.
And then when he's like he said, well, his character name, he said, "Oh, you're just a."
Oh, you look like the Wish.com version of Cran the Beast.
Yes,
because Cran the Beast is from the very first Grand Narrative character, Lord of War, that Zach himself was playing. And as I've talked to Zach afterwards, I was like, "Oh, why are you? Is Cran ever coming back?" And he's like, "Oh no, it is Cran may come back. I'm not going to do it because it is way too much work to be a Lord of War and to run the event."
Oh,
he's
no,
like,
yeah.
And I did not realize that year one.
Yeah.
And year one was exponentially smaller.
Yeah, logistics-wise, a Lord of War is a major story part. Someone who's running it can't do that because you have to be focused on all the you're more like a CEO, making sure all the fires are fought and keeping everything running smoothly.
Yes.
Which voxel columns help with that.
Yes.
The Lords of War push the story really well. And Zach was like, I don't want to say the puppet master, that's not the right word, but he was being able to control and make sure that everything. So Zach, if you're listening, great job. Congratulations. Another successful year. We loved it. We're planning on coming back next year.
Disappointed that you couldn't get the projector to work, but whatever. Yeah. Minor technical glitch, and we're just like, I have it on my phone. We'll just read it off the phone. The orc player from last year who had the awesome display board and orc cosplay won the best. I forget what they called it. It was
he had different names and I couldn't see because
it had stopped
displaying.
But basically, it was the combination of army themed display board and cosplay.
Costume. Yep.
So he won that again. Fantastic. He was the one that. If you've seen photos, or we'll probably post them on social media, it was like this orc teleporter rock thing with lit up. The winner of the best display board was the Eldar Windrider host that was coming in over water.
Yeah.
So they were kicking up the water and stuff like that. Super cool looking. Best painted went to, like I said, Janet's friend from our Discord with his Imperial Guard army. I just tossed it away. But protagonist was Aaron that I played game 2. Game 2, the Black Templars player. And then antagonist was Chaos player.
That makes sense because Chaos was being Chaos.
Very cool, very fun event. Thanks to everybody who was involved, everybody's helped in years past. Like I said, it's a huge commitment, but we're glad you do it. It was a lot of fun. We should be back in Atlanta next year, same time. Well, obviously, we'll have details announced as we get into next year.
As soon as they announce it in 2026, we will be back on the ball.
Hopefully, Rob will be able to make it this year.
Yes, I think we've tossed a thing we would love to see is have at least 3 of us there between Rob, Richard, Kevin, and me, and have all 3 of us, or at least 3 on different factions.
Yeah, it was fun to be in the same battle group. It helped from the perspective of easier to know where we're going and easier to sync up for lunch and stuff, although not on day one. But it is what it is. Some games take longer. I kind of miss the perspective we had from being in multiple factions.
Well, it also changes your attitude.
Yeah.
You and I would be ribbing each other hey, Chaos is doing the stupid stuff and you'd be defending them.
So I do, I had a blast with the Votann group. I'm not 100% sure on the army yet. I think it's just because I need to learn. I need to play it more. I need to learn a little bit more about it. There's some things that I know I need to tweak. And I have the models and stuff, so I just need to build them and paint them. Yeah, I don't know. Because we've got, as we talked in the preview, the 500 Worlds campaign coming up, that feels like the end of the edition campaign, and we're going to get 11th edition next year if we're on the same cycle.
Everyone thinks the way the cycle's going, next summer will be 11th ed.
So a big part of it for me is how is that going to change up how armies play? How is that going to change up the rules? Because despite what people ask us, because somebody was asking me and oh, well, what's in the preview show, and I'm like, I have no idea what's in the preview. They do not tell us that stuff. Nope. We get some stuff in advance, but we don't get it that far in advance, and it's usually just product stuff. They don't tell us where the game's going. So we will find out about a potential 11th edition the same time you guys do. That said, depending on how the game changes, how the rules change, how the armies change, what gets legended, what gets carried over, what doesn't. That'll impact what I end up playing next year at the Grand Narrative.
I'm playing Votann.
That said, what I'm probably going to do is, in an effort to be less stressed over the last couple of months,
Something you've already
probably
painted.
going to work on like actually plan out painting my Krieg over the next year, so that I'm not stuck doing it all at the last minute.
Yeah.
And Krieg is an army that like is going to be a little bit harder to paint. It's going to require some different skills. I want to take more time.
You've been talking about Krieg for about 2 to 3 years.
Yeah.
As soon as they put that box out.
Yeah, because it's a cool army. So, and like there's a lot of really cool stuff, and I've seen a lot of it here. So I'm like, I want to do something like that. I think I could do some really cool cosplay stuff with it. One of those things, like, since it's a brand new plastic range, it is definitely not an army that they're going to get rid of for the next
You just
edition.
want a more comfortable cosplay.
I don't know that it would be, because it's going to be a heavy gray coat. So it's not going to be...
heavy brown coat to a heavy gray coat. Got it.
Yeah, it's going to be a heavy gray coat with, like, a chest piece. So I don't know. I also want to look at it and see, because what I would kind of like to do is maybe, like, a Krieg Commissar. But I don't know. We'll have to see. Anyway, but that's all for next year. So
Speculation.
I think regardless of what I end up playing next year, that's kind of my hobby project for the next foreseeable future. Although if I do go to the Texas Open, I might go back to World Eaters, because there's a couple models that I want to finish painting up for that.
And they like having legends, so.
Yeah, so if they have legends, then I can take like my Brass Scorpion, which I've had for about a year and I need to build and paint. And that will not be that difficult to paint. I can get that knocked out pretty quickly.
Just paint it brass. You're done.
Well, it's no, I mean, I'll use my airbrush on it, but it's big flat armor panel, so it actually will paint pretty fast, I think. I just need to set out to do it. When I get home, because I've been like scrambling painting for the last month, I really need to go through and just reorganize and clean up my hobby space. So like that's probably what I'm going to do when I get home tomorrow, is like start cleaning that space up and reorganizing it. But
Sounds like a plan.
different.
So the Grand Narrative inspired you to do more hobby cleanup.
I mean, yes, but not in a healthy way, because it was insane amount of stress to get it done in the last.
No, I'm talking about going forward.
Oh, going forward.
Yeah, you're doing the hobby cleanup.
Yeah. It inspired me to not do this again. Yeah.
But all in all, I think we had a wonderful time. And like we've said before, I think in all of our Grand Narrative episodes, it's so much fun. If you have a chance, come to one of the Grand Narratives.
Yeah, listen, all the US Open narratives are fun. The Grand Narrative is really, truly next level. Every year, and like as Zach joked about it, I think in the opening ceremonies or one of them, he's like, yeah, every year we keep getting this, making it bigger and better. That's not any pressure. That's no pressure at all for us. We don't want to screw this up. You know, I truly don't know where they go next year. I truly don't. Like how they can make the event bigger and better and like one up themselves, which is great. I'm excited to see what they come up with, because I know they will come up with something.
Go to Terra and Mars.
Well, like
but then I don't think you can go anywhere else from that.
Well, at this point, like I'm kind of thinking, I'm like, we were talking. I think we were talking last year that
What could they outdo the orc?
Well, that like what other like Xenos could they do? And I was like, well, there's no way they could do Necron, because like it's so, and like that's literally what they did this year.
Yeah,
Yeah, so like I think I remember us having the conversation. Like I can't imagine they could do a Necron, Lord of War, and then they did. So doing like not necessarily Belisarius Call, but like a Tech Priest Dominus or something like that, or one of the high Tech Priests, is no longer off the table.
Yeah.
Doing more Space Marines. I mean, they absolutely do more Space Marines, but like maybe next year's more Chaos Marines. Maybe there's Khorne Berserker or Plague Marine,
or maybe
like
this might be tied to closer to. I was going to say Eye of Terror, but more like the Veil,
Yeah.
or the Great Rift. Have something on the edge of the Great Rift.
The guy who played the Watch Captain,
Yes.
and I forget his name. I want to say it was Dale, but I could be wrong. He made the Watch Captain and the Magistar, the Thousand Suns cosplay, like armor. And like he's like, yeah, this is something I do. Like this is a hobby I do. And he's like, now that GW is having me do it for them, I can actually afford to make all the ones that I want to make.
Yes.
So like I know, like, so there's at least 2 out there that they can do going forward, and then there's more. And so I know that they have ideas, and they will. I'm excited because they will come up with something that outdoes what they did this year. I just don't know what it'll be.
I don't think they know what it will be, but we're all excited to find out.
Exactly. All right. Any other final thoughts?
No, I think my best thing is it's a fun time. Just in general, I like narrative play, and I think as you heard all the tweaks and changes they did here, so if Kevin and I run something else in the future, I think we're going to steal some of the ideas here.
Absolutely.
It's flattery.
Borrow ideas. Like, that's the whole point is, as we talked with Chris and Rachel in the last couple episodes ago. Yeah, steal good ideas from everyone. That makes the events better. It makes the hobby better. So.
And yeah, past that, it's a great time. I encourage people to come to a grand narrative or narrative.
I think that's all. So we will see everybody in the next episode. I'm Kevin.
And I'm Dennis. Good night, good gaming, and see you in the 41st millennium.